Hey nerds! My name is Hidzir.
I'm Hardi.
And we're also joined by...
Isa.
That's Isa Fong. You may know him as Blankverse. We're actually in front of a live audience today of one.
Yeah.
Our friend Adil Rashid is in the room. He may chime in, but we're not sure whether he will.
He's on
Yeah.
hype man duty.
Yeah. Maybe at the end we'll plug his show, but we'll see. Anyways, this is a new podcast called Genre Equality, where we'll be talking about the geekier side of pop culture. Anything from horror and fantasy
Sci-fi.
to sci-fi and superheroes, and everything in between. We'll be covering mediums, like books, comic books, TV, film,
Anything that catches our interest.
basically lah.
Yeah.
And this will be a monthly thing. For those of you who don't know, I think myself and Hardi do another podcast about wrestling, which is kind of genre.
It's genre-ish.
Yeah, it's kind of theaterish. So that is a weekly podcast, but this will be a monthly podcast.
Yep.
So look for us on the 1st of every month.
Yeah, so this will be debuting on the 1st, right? Yeah, if you're listening to this, it will be the 1st of January.
Oh my god, keep up kayfabe.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, never mind.
Keep up kayfabe, yeah, you're right.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Yay! So we thought we'll kick off the very first podcast of Genre Equality by looking back on the year that was 2017.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah. So we've collectively picked out 20 great moments of genre television and film. We won't just be talking about genre television and film, of course, going forward, but we think that to cover one entire year, we gotta narrow it down a bit.
Yeah.
And film and TV is kind of the major things that people...
So these are like the 20 that we most stuck out to us.
Yeah. So this isn't like the 20 best shows.
Yeah.
This isn't like the 20 best movies. We
Nope.
figured that by talking about moments, it can kind of better encapsulate what the product is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I guess we'll kick it off by something that everyone knows.
What?
Game of Thrones.
Oh, Game of Thrones!
Yeah. The second most polarizing thing of 2017 besides The Last Jedi
Was whether Game of Thrones season was good or not.
whether it was logical or not.
A lot of the time jumps so here and there was confusing for some.
We could get into that, but that's a longer conversation. But what everybody can agree is that the loot train sequence, the battle where Daenerys, Drogon, and the Dothraki attack the Lannister army
Yep.
in a field. Do not face the Dothraki on an open field.
You know better than that. You know better than that, Lannisters.
Yeah, I mean, this is like Robert Baratheon's worst nightmare come true.
Exactly.
I think nobody can dispute that this sequence was thrilling. It's absolutely thrilling. It's kind of like the culmination of what we've been waiting 7 years to watch.
To see dragons burn people.
Fucking like Daenerys crossing that sea finally, and then
Thank God that was one episode.
and then like kind of being like hampered by Tyrion a little bit. Like don't attack people, but we want bloodshed. It's war.
Exactly.
And this episode title is appropriately titled The Spoils of War. It's season 7 episode 4.
And the scene that we're talking about is the loot train battle scene.
If you've seen Game of Thrones, you know what you're talking about. Yeah. So kick us off, Isa. What do you think about the scene?
I think the moral of the story is if you have a dragon, you should use it.
Yes,
That's true.
Right. And we go back and forth for like the majority of the season, and Tyrion's just like, we are better than that. Of course you're better than that, Daenerys. You've got fucking dragons.
I know where he's coming from, though.
I mean, like, we can go across like the entire like moral high ground that he's trying to push, right? Is she any better if she stoops to what everyone else is doing?
You wouldn't be breaking the wheel. You'd just be another spoke on it, right? It's what John's speech to her was. Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, I think the loot train sequence. Definitely huge payoff for the fans.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely, or at least at that, up to that point, you think that it's a very important strategic move.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the side of the Mother of Dragons.
It's worthy of any episode 9, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They want
exactly.
big battles, yeah.
Right. But I think like as far as the season goes, that was actually one as important as that was, right? That only kind of like set the benchmark for where they wanted to take the entire season, like after that, with the next episode.
Varying opinions differ as to whether they succeeded or failed in that.
Exactly.
Overwhelmingly, most people felt that it kind of fell short a bit.
Yes.
Not to say that Game of Thrones isn't good, because you got to think about Game of Thrones at its worst. And say what you will, maybe season 1 was slightly worse than this.
Yeah.
But Game of Thrones at its worst is still like a million times better than every other TV show out there. So it's fucking nuts to think that this is them at their worst and people are complaining.
Yeah.
Have you seen Lost? You see how illogical some shows can be?
Remember the payoff for Lost? there was no payoff.
Alright, okay. This is kind of a side note, but I've been rewatching Lost lately, right?
Yeah.
And upon second viewing, it kind of makes sense.
Really?
Okay, but
it really does.
Look,
Well,
okay.
this is a different conversation.
Everything, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But the payoff wasn't great.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
see?
It was anticlimactic, but it made sense.
It made sense because like why the polar bears there? Because easy to experiment on.
Yeah.
Why is there food supplies? Oh, because it came
No,
from.
but the whole purgatory thing was something I was kind of confused by initially.
Yeah, but that it's actually all clearly explained. It's just that it was like, that's all.
But Game of Thrones is a more linear show. You see, there are
exactly.
no like time travel or smoke monsters. Well, actually, there was a smoke monster. Yeah.
It was a fucking demon, motherfucker.
Oh yeah, there was a smoke monster baby. Maybe they exist in the same universe.
No, let's not go there.
Okay, yeah. But to me, why the loot train battle sequence was above and beyond most battle sequences that came before was that we were invested in both sides.
Yeah,
And primarily with the major battles that we've seen, like the Battle of the Bastards, which was the set piece of last year, Hardhome, which was the set piece of season 5, or the Battle of Blackwater, for example.
Season 2?
All these big battles, right?
Yeah.
We are clearly rooting for one side.
Correct.
I've always been that way. But in this particular occasion, with Bronn, with Jaime, with Tyrion looking at his people being killed, slaughtered mercilessly,
So you really didn't know who to spot?
I keep going back and forth.
Yeah.
Like when Bronn was about to get killed, I'm like, oh my god, don't die, Bronn! And then Bronn takes out the scorpion, and it's like, fuck you, Bronn, die! And it's like, oh no, Drogon, oh no! And then and I was like, yeah, Drogon, fuck you! And it's like, oh, Jaime, don't die! And then Jaime's about to die. I was like, oh no!
And Bronn like.
So the roller coaster, the gamut of emotions of what I've just so eloquently summarized there.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Can tell you're a journalist.
yeah. Dude, you gotta hit the point forms here. Yeah. What do you think about this battle?
I immensely enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because finally dragons getting to do something.
One
dragon, but the biggest dragon.
Yeah.
Drogon motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right? However, in this season, because last season, the problem was that last season we had what happened last season?
I don't know. Cersei blew up
The set of Valor, right?
Battle of the
That
Bastards.
was the Battle of the yeah. Also those big set pieces and all that. And I felt that even though it was good to see dragons, that attack was significant in the way that it was the first time that Daenerys was being on the offensive.
Yeah.
Right? But the results that she got from that wasn't great lah.
Yeah.
No, it was
technically it made no sense lah.
It was kind of a hollow victory.
Yeah.
But it was one she needed at that point.
But it felt satisfactory.
Yeah.
It was very satisfactory.
Yeah.
For her lah.
I think it's just to commit the waiting of the 7 years to see dragons and Dothraki and Daenerys on land fighting
in
Westeros. It's cool. Yeah.
One of the things that so everyone keeps talking about the dragons, and we talk about it for 7 fucking seasons, right?
Yep.
And you would think that they would have a plan other than shooting large spears at them,
Yeah.
right? Like there would be a way. There would be a way for you to like not be in a straight line.
But I feel like with the political upheaval in Westeros, I think that they just haven't had time to look outward with all the danger inward. That kind of explains why they were so unprepared for an outside invasion.
Yeah,
when they have been so focused on the various.
I mean, the War of the Vikings kind of stripped everybody of power and manpower lah.
Yeah.
They're kind of like living for today and they're not thinking about tomorrow because you gotta survive today. If not, you get killed at the wedding.
Were there any other parts of Game of Thrones that was significant apart from the Loot Train battle? There were, right?
There were this year. I'm assuming the Battle North of the Wall was significant, although that presents a lot of divisiveness in fandom as well.
Yeah. Because
but I mean, since we're talking about genre television's greatest moments or most thrilling,
This
we'll just leave it at the Loot Train battle.
Loot Train battle.
The season high point.
Loot Train battle for me, like the most important, as thrilling as the fight was. Right? As thrilling as the fight was, as much of a payoff it was for all the fans being waiting, to see people burn in Dragonfire.
Yeah.
I think like the combination of that moment is when Daenerys decides whether or not to set father and son on fire.
That's the next episode though.
Yeah, but like I mean,
it did set up that lah.
Yeah, it set that up in such a nice way.
It did.
Because at the end of the day, everything that Tyrion talks about doesn't get shown in the Luke.
I mean, that was
it
her.
gets shown in her decision.
Yeah.
Whether or not to spare the son.
Yeah, and I mean that showed her Targaryen side lah.
I was of the opinion that she was totally justified in doing that.
Yeah.
And I was on her side.
She
for
did
it.
say I mean, she did give them a chance.
Yeah, join me or die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't. They didn't join her.
I mean, sure, she took the Punisher approach to it, but you know.
Sometimes need to be merciless, lor.
Yeah. It is war.
It is.
And as Jon Snow, eloquently said, as she pointed out to Jon Snow, how many people died in the Battle of the Bastards when you were taking back Winterfell? How is that any different? They died in war.
Yeah.
And sometimes casualties are there.
Well, I
Yeah.
agree. So that's our first.
That's all first. We'll be moving on to a
Oh,
show.
we just talked about Punisher. Let's segue into
Yeah, let's go into Punisher. Punisher to me has been the best of the Marvel Netflix shows.
For sure.
Yeah.
Would anyone
in the
nobody
Netflix
disagree?
universe? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
I mean, this year we had a lot of disappointments.
Defenders, Iron Fist.
Defenders was way.
Iron Fist was last year, but yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, but Defenders was really not on par with what was expected.
Defenders had its moments.
Yeah.
None so great that they will make it on this list.
Yeah, but it wasn't even close to being the sum of its parts, right?
Yeah.
Given Daredevil being what it was, and Luke Cage being what it was, and of course Jessica Jones.
Even Luke Cage fell apart in the second half.
Exactly.
Jessica Jones so did it. And to be fair, Daredevil season 2 fell apart post Punisher too.
Exactly. So,
So I mean, that was one of the curses of Netflix. The Netflix TV
The
shows.
13
second
episode
half
model.
always fails to deliver.
Yeah, but then Defenders had 8 episodes and they failed to capitalize on that either.
Yeah.
but with Punisher, I didn't feel
Punisher was how many episodes?
13.
13.
right?
Yeah, and
It felt
And it did not have any drop.
Exactly, and I love the pacing. I love the storytelling of it. I love the way that they bounced between Frank's present day and his past and all
Yep.
of that. Such a
And
great
his relationships.
and his relationships.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think Punisher, hands down, as far as Marvel's Netflix franchises go, is one of the best told stories.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
Right,
From
best fleshed out character.
Yeah.
even the mid-season deviation as you so want to have.
Yeah.
Even that was compelling in that it deals with the hypocrisy of Frank Castle's vengeance versus justice.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
the difference between him
And that bomber.
and the bomber?
Yeah.
Okay,
So wait, which scene are we talking about?
Well, we'll get to that, but I would like to pause for a bit because, if you're listening this far on, right, and you haven't figured it out, right, this whole conversation is spoiler heavy as fuck. We are dealing with super key moments in big shows.
Also, the statute of limitations for spoilers has already passed.
Has
for
passed,
us.
but I would just like to warn you, if you're upset by now, right, do not keep listening because this is spoiler heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be talking about episode 3, an episode called Kandahar, where Frank Castle just loses it
Oh, right. Yes.
in Afghanistan.
That was a cool
And
episode.
the sequence shot to an anti-war song.
Yeah.
It deals with how he got his PTSD, what you're forced to do in war, and the consequences of that when you get back home.
Yeah.
It was just very raw and visceral.
It felt Rambo-like.
If I remember, but it told the line between realism and also the fact that Frank Castle is a comic book guy.
Superhero,
Yeah. I mean, he has no superpowers, but he is the
Frank Castle.
Punisher.
Yeah.
So I believe in that Jack Bauer-ness of it, but at the same time, you felt the weight of it on him.
Yeah.
Like with the blood splattered on his face and him just going nuts, hitting the rock on that
On
on
terrorist face.
that so-called
Insurgent.
Yeah, we're not even sure whether they're really
Yeah, we don't
terrorists
even
because
know.
he was given
Very
weird-
vague orders.
Vague orders, right?
Just kill those people.
Yeah. So I mean, it deals with that as well. So
Yeah.
that to me is what makes the Punisher a top-notch show. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But that scene was fantastic though.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, fantastic choreography.
Yeah.
The way it was shot.
It almost felt like it was a single shot, but I'm not sure whether it was single.
No,
Yeah.
I mean there are definitely cuts because the explosions all can
Yeah.
mask the
Correct.
single. Can mask
Yeah.
the movement.
But it gave the motion of a single tracking
Yes,
shot,
exactly.
which I
I
appreciate.
really appreciate that. Yes.
Yeah, I really like that a lot. I guess we'll move on from the Punisher to let's talk about another Marvel show.
Yes, why not?
The best Marvel show on TV, bar none, and I'm including
On network television.
I'm even including the Punisher in this.
Yeah, Agents of Shield.
It's Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Huh.
You may be confused because season 1 was such utter bullshit.
And if you're fallen off the train,
You need to get
Get back on.
get back on.
Get back on.
now.
Get back on.
Yeah.
Right.
This is a more exciting train than the loot train. This
If
is,
you decide to watch Inhumans instead of this, you're a dumbass.
let's not talk about Inhumans.
Yeah,
Let's not talk about Inhumans.
that's another
They
list.
fucking shave Medusa. What the fuck?
That doesn't make sense.
So Marvel's Agent of
Yeah,
S.H.I.E.L.D. has
Agents of
quietly grown into one of the best superhero shows on television, if not the best superhero show on television.
Yes, yeah.
And
Agreed.
it's such a perplexing thing to say because of how it started and where it's come.
Yep.
And I would consider it better than the Punisher just because the Punisher hasn't kept that up for 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I feel like season 1 episode 16 onwards, straight fire.
I mean, it's just grown from strength to strength, lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this particular scene that we're going to be talking about is when Fitz gets out of the framework.
Yeah.
And he breaks up with Ada
His, girlfriend.
/ Ophelia,
His
who was a Madam Hydra in the framework. and-
LMD first. Started as an LMD.
Yeah. This particular actress, Mallory Jensen, she played almost 4 distinct characters in
Yeah.
the real version of her. The LMD version of her, which was Ada, Madam Hydra.
Madam Hydra.
And then when she came out of the framework, she
became a real human.
flesh and blood. She got emotions. So you saw her process of that episode of doing good things, like exhibiting kindness and what it feels to exhibit kindness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she feels heartbreak and jealousy for the first time, and she freaks the fuck out.
Because it hurts really badly, lah.
It's like he wanted love. This is what love is.
This is how painful it is,
Love is
motherfucker.
pain. And the way she freaks out is just like marvelous acting.
Yeah,
And
it was.
Fitz's reaction is also pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I think Fitz killed it last season, especially when he was in the framework
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And then coming out of it, dealing with it. I think he's gonna be a bit darker in season 5 when
Yeah.
he gets back into space. Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Well, we already saw in the last episode, like
Yeah.
he showed up, but we'll see how.
We'll figure. Yeah, we'll get more info next week.
Yeah. Did you like the whole Ada thing in season 4?
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
yeah.
I think in general, I really, really like the whole framework thing because it flips so many things on its head. Except, well, everything except Grant, maybe.
Grant is
Grant
still
is
a
still
double
double
agent.
agent.
Yeah.
Still a double
Grant
agent.
is-
Right,
double
which I really love, and I think like Daisy had that one like meta awareness moment where she's just like, oh my god, like he's still the same character.
Yep.
But yeah, wow, like I can't. I mean, like 4 characters isn't Tatiana Maslany level.
No, it's not.
It's not, but still, like you know.
Even James McAvoy in Split.
Yeah, exactly, and she's only been around this season, right?
Yeah.
And that kind
Last
of
season.
growth,
Yeah.
right? And they keep bringing in more and more of her characters. I really like her as Madam Hydra. I think like when I think about what Madam Hydra should be like, that really felt
That
very,
should be
very
like.
well.
Yeah, you're right. I
You know,
agree.
but and then the switch from that back to her coming back out and being and becoming flesh and blood
Yeah.
and having her
Feeling
new
emotions.
feeling her emotions and having powers to go with that.
Yeah, she
Right.
had all the Inhuman powers.
Which is insane.
Yeah. I like that they introduced MODOK as well. She's got the Russian guy. He hasn't been explored yet, but
Yeah.
I'm sure he's coming back.
Interesting though,
Yeah.
because this MODOK was very different from the comics MODOK.
Yeah, but I mean,
But I mean, I don't mind.
liberties.
Liberties, yeah.
Yeah.
Why I like this season and why Madam
Well,
Hydra-
last season.
last
As of
season,
now,
so I
yeah.
keep, yeah. Well, remember we started the season off that last season with the Ghost Rider arc, right?
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a brilliant segue though,
Right?
from Ghost Rider into the framework.
exactly.
Yeah.
So Ghost Rider introduced you to Ghost Rider first,
To the
his-
dark hole.
To the dark
and the dark hole is how the framework happened.
And then the
mix of
interaction
technology
between the
and
dark
magic.
hole and LMD, I mean, like Ada using the dark hole and
Correct.
the consequences of that,
Yeah.
leading to the framework. Like, wow, it was such a brilliantly crafted
Yeah.
story, lah.
And like, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the CW DC shows.
Yeah.
But I don't think they've ever reached the level that Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has. Maybe occasionally, once or twice
Yeah,
per
but not
season.
the whole fucking season.
But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at this moment, right, has been able to do it like consistently 22 episodes, in a
Exactly.
row.
Yeah.
Last season was fire, primarily because of their new 3-arc structure, where they break
kind
up.
of loving, lah.
They break it up into 3 8-episode kind of mini seasons,
Yeah.
which means you never have the lull that a Netflix show does.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's always like fast paced, boom, 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 full of story, full of developments, move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And you never know when it's going to get cancelled, so
Yeah.
that's why they're doing it.
Exactly.
I have to admit, like I was very skeptical about the whole LMD thing because it's been abused
So much.
to so much in comic book canon, right?
Yeah.
And I did like the restraint that they showed with that. And of course, again, brilliant segue into the framework.
Yeah.
You know, and I love like just how they picked their stories very, very well and make sure that they fit together in something that's coherent.
Yeah.
For the audience. And you would think like most times if you have that many arcs, right, in a given season, the audience is going to get lost.
Yes.
Especially when it's something as genre specific, right, and which requires you to have some kind of like canonical knowledge to fully appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't assume that, but at the same time they don't lead you by the hand.
Exactly.
So right now, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Yeah.
like really, really, if you aren't watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you're missing out.
Before we move on to the next one, I just
Yeah.
have a theory to posit
Go ahead.
that you know how Daisy is being blamed for the Earth
The
ending.
Earth ending,
Yeah.
yeah.
What if it's LMD Daisy, who hasn't been caught?
Ooh, LMD Daisy.
Ooh.
Did they lose the LMD Daisy?
LMD Daisy was the one who shot Talbot in the head,
Right.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
and then leading off that whole sequence of events.
Really?
Yeah,
But
that's my theory. But how would she do it? I don't know.
exactly, she doesn't have her quick powers, right? LMD Daisy.
Yeah, but I mean, she is kind of
But-
working for Modok, who may
Yeah,
have a
who may.
nuke or whatever they are on a nuclear submarine,
Etc.
Fair
etc.
enough.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just a theory.
Yeah, I know.
Because Daisy's getting blamed for it. Yeah. Speaking of the DC CW shows, we're gonna move on to something a bit lighter.
Go ahead.
A bit lighter. Super Friends.
Oh,
Oh.
Flash.
It has a double meaning.
Yeah.
So like, the Flash.
Just rolled my eyes at you, by the way.
It has a double meaning. Super Friends. The power of friendship. Yeah. So like,
First of all, you like musical
I
episodes.
love musicals. I'm a musical nerd, and like I am more inclined to like musical than most nerdy men who are more of like,
Nah, I'm
hey,
a
let's watch the
musical guy.
Punisher shoot people in the head. I like people getting shot in the head too, but I like musicals too.
Me too.
Yeah, maybe they could shoot people in the head in a musical.
I would watch a Punisher musical.
Yes!
I would watch a Punisher musical.
I keep wanting Arrow to have a musical because it would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Like Oliver Queen kind of just reacting to like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
As he's murdering people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I'm not gonna lie. Flash last season was not good.
Oh.
It just wasn't.
I mean, this season hasn't been that great either.
Yes, Flash has quickly fallen off as the flagship show, and right now, weirdly enough, Legends of Tomorrow has become like the top show.
Yes.
Weirdly enough.
But the best episode of Flash the last season was only good because it was number one, a musical, and number two, it had Supergirl.
Crossover.
So basically, Supergirl and Barry Allen Flash are trapped in this musical world because they have to rediscover love.
Yep.
They have a kind of like fifth dimension kind of character, Mitsupitlik kind of person.
They do.
Who is kind of just like has a heavy investment in them to get
Good
back with their loved
pronunciation of
ones.
Mr. Pidlik.
I know, I don't have to do it backwards.
Oh, okay.
Which is how you send me back to my dimension.
Oh, yeah.
I miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was fun, and there are a lot of great musical sequences, but my
Yeah.
favorite was Super
The
Friends.
dance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the tap dancing and then the Super Friends,
Yeah.
friendship.
I mean, they have the training lah. Both of them
From
are
D.
from D.
Yeah,
Forget-
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
And a lot of you
Yeah.
like probably don't know, but most of the cast members on Legends, Arrow, Flash have been theatre
Theatre
trained
people,
Broadway musical. Victor Garber is a
Yeah,
Broadway guy.
exactly.
Jesse L. Martin. What's it? Flash's dad. I
Flash's
forgot his
dad.
name. Mr. West.
Detective Joe West.
Joe West. That's Adil Rashid, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank
you. So yeah, he's a musical guy.
Yeah.
The guy that plays Malcolm Mullen, musical guy
Musical
too.
guy.
I was very surprised by
Theatre guy.
Yeah, theatre guy. I was very surprised by Cisco singing. He was so
Not
so
bad.
good.
Not bad.
I was caught off guard with that.
Yeah, and the Fifth Dimension guy was also a Glee guy, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah. So this is just a musical episode I wanted to throw in there because I like musicals.
No, it was great. It was great. I really, really enjoyed it. I think, like, given the
Yeah.
context of the Flash season that
Yeah.
it had, right? And of course, Supergirl was had a great season,
Mm-hmm.
They did.
right? But like, Barry in his own show was kind of a downer.
Yeah, we kind of lost the happy-go-lucky Barry, which is kind of what we fell in love with the Flash for.
But no
And
choice because character development.
He doesn't do brooding half as well as Oliver does.
Of course.
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Not even close.
And I don't even think I'm not even sure it's kind of required, right?
No,
Because
yeah.
it went dark enough for it to be like almost the point of no return. It's
Yeah.
so difficult to believe that, and like the whole whole musical episode just kind of like brought it back to where I honestly think Flash should be.
It felt like season 1 Flash again, but
Yeah.
the sense of fun and freshness which Legend of Tomorrow now brings.
The camp.
The camp, yeah.
Yeah.
Flash is trying to rediscover that, but I think it's a bit too late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think they went a tad too far with
Yeah.
the character development.
It's okay. I think we can rein it back in. We can rein it back in.
I mean, I hope. I'm still a big fan of the
I
Flash.
mean, he's all married and shit now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like also that like in Crisis on Infinite Earths they brought back Running Home to You.
They did.
Yeah.
Kara sang it now on the aisle. Yeah, different moment, not part of this list, but I'm just gonna throw that out there. And I would like to say though, like what made this episode so jarring to a lot of CW DC fans, and what made it so polarizing, because not everyone's a musical junkie. You know,
Yeah.
I get that if you hate the musical episode, it's fine. It also aired on the same week of an Arrow episode called Capricorn. which was like the most brutal Arrow episode I've ever seen, and it gave the Punisher a run for his money.
Yeah,
it never visually showed the gore, but the implied violence was quite extreme. The Punisher never skinned a person alive, and like Oliver Queen did that. And this was the same week, the day after the musical episode. So you're like, ooh, Tono Whiplash.
But it's okay, different shows.
Yeah, and the moment I wanted to pick up from that was when Prometheus finally breaks Oliver Queen, and then like he gets Oliver Queen to realize that like I enjoy killing. I do it because I like it, not because of some like sense of justice. You know,
that whole sense of justice was just a fucking charade. It was just
like he was kind of lying to himself.
A veneer to like make himself feel better.
Yeah, and that to me is why Arrow is still the most compelling superhero on the Arrowverse.
True.
Well, since we're talking about that, let's talk about Prometheus as a villain, right?
Fantastic, yeah. He revived the show single-handedly.
Exactly, and I think that's something that we've had conversations about this before, about how the foils are so important to the superhero genre, and like one of the big reasons I think that Flash didn't do as well is because it had a very strange kind of exaggerated villain. Well, no, this time round it was
Saboteur, right, yeah. Their third speedster villain in a row also didn't help.
Exactly, and it got tired after a while, but that was a very poorly fleshed out villain. You barely saw any of him. As you were supposed to, and as opposed to that, it just shows that for superhero flicks, right? Sometimes what you just really need is a great villain.
Yeah, it's two halves lah. You always need a compelling villain. You definitely do. Marvel in the cinematic universe has kind of proven otherwise, but it will always be elevated by a compelling villain. It always will be.
Loki.
Yeah. Kingpin. Yeah. Kingpin.
Grand Ward.
Grand Ward. Yes.
Grand Ward as Swarm.
Yeah, Grand Ward as Grand Ward as Hive. Even Grand Ward in the framework was a good guy. I mean, all compelling lah. And I think Arrow before this 2 seasons of just utter drudgery. A lot of people kind of gave up on the show. I very nearly did until Prometheus showed up. And then so this is what is keeping my hope for the Flash alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
they can turn it around.
If the Arrow can turn it around after 2 seasons of just like rubbish, right?
Why not the Flash?
Why not the Flash? And the Flash has only been 1 season of rubbish.
Yeah.
So still can catch up.
This season is a lot better than last season.
Oh, definitely. But it's a very low bar.
Yeah, I know.
It's like when The Force Awakens came out and people said, oh, it's the best thing since Empire Strikes Back. It's a really low bar.
Return of the Jedi and the 3 prequels, come on.
Yeah. I don't know whether we want to get into the whole Star Wars thing.
Never mind.
Let's run through the DC CW stuff.
Okay.
We'll get out of the way. Legends of Tomorrow, we mentioned it a lot. One of the most fun, vibrant, campy, witty meta shows out there right now, and this particular one was a DC show doing an episode about a Disney property. And since we were on the topic of Star Wars, let's talk about George Lucas being trapped in a trash compactor. So the entire plot of this was George Lucas, somebody went back in time, messed things up, and George Lucas never became a director. And because like of all the nerds on the Wave Rider, they were influenced to be engineers, scientists, superheroes, because of Star Wars. And without Star Wars, they became stupid, they lost their powers, etc., or they ceased to exist entirely. It was weird, the influence and impact that George Lucas has. But people who know Star Wars in our universe know that it does have that kind of impact. It's a testament to the power of art
influencing decisions in your life lah.
And that was kind of the deeper meaning of this episode lah. But just the idea of that George Lucas got the idea for the trash compactor scene because Damon Duck put him there. It's fucking hilarious. And also because he's a Disney guy.
He's a Disney guy now.
He used to be part of Fox, 20th Century Fox, which Disney now owns anyway, so it doesn't matter. Disney owns everything.
So now the purists or Star Wars purists can watch the original with the Fox logo in the title sequence.
Oh, yes, that's true.
And I would just like to point out that the episode title is called Raiders of the Lost Art, which is another Spielberg reference.
Spielberg/Lucas reference.
Yeah, they did like another Spielberg reference earlier this year with E.T., with the Dominator. It's fun. Legends Tomorrow, one of my favorites, or the favorite of the CW shows.
Okay.
I'm gonna cap off the CW shows with Supergirl. I know you guys haven't caught up yet.
I caught up already.
Oh, you caught up?
Yeah.
Okay, Supergirl versus Rain / World Killer in the latest episode, the mid-season finale, was I think like the best fight scene that the Arrowverse has ever done. And considering how high the bar has been set on Arrow itself, the fact that Supergirl of all things would like one up it, and the only reason is one upped. The only reason is one upped is because Supergirl is so rarely this brutal.
Yeah.
They don't do blood. They don't do bruises. They don't make Supergirl Kara look messy.
But they
but the way that she was just decimated by rain, like her face was broken, her teeth was broken, she was bleeding everywhere. She looked like it was hard to watch because this was basically a woman being battered, but admittedly by another woman.
Yeah.
But it made it very difficult to watch as a Supergirl fan, and it was so tonally drastically different from what Supergirl has been up to this point. So the impact that they wanted was there.
They did.
Yeah, it hurt, man. Yeah.
Definitely one of the moments of the year.
Yeah. And if you haven't been watching Supergirl, do check it out.
Yeah.
It's very politically. I wouldn't say subtle but it's very politically driven It's almost heavy-handed in its.
Some of it.
In its. I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. I wholeheartedly agree with the whole LGBT thing.
That was a bit
illegal
on the nose,
yeah, but all I'm saying is that you could do it a little more subtly.
Yeah. But it's a CW show, man.
Yeah.
We keep forgetting sometimes.
We keep forgetting, but because the thing is that the CW shows can get so good sometimes that you forget that it can be really bad. The lows of the CW shows are really low, but when they're high, they're really high. And I think that's the frustrating part for us as CWDC fans.
Yep.
Because we know how good they can be, but they so rarely are. But we keep sticking around because like once in a while we'll be like, yes, that's why I love you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Do I sound like a method husband?
Yeah.
Alright. Let's talk about a show that we all watch. The Good Place.
Oh, The Good Place. Let me guess.
Major spoilers. Major spoilers.
Stop.
If you have not watched The Good Place, please
turn off. So The Good Place season finale.
Big reveal.
That is the bad place all along. Eleanor figures out single-handedly that they are in a bad place.
Yeah.
And throughout watching the season, I was rewatching it with Hardi, and I still watched it too. And I'm sure you all had the same observations in the first few episodes. Some of the logic of this world doesn't make sense.
Yeah. We didn't think it was a bad place first. We thought like, this good place kind of sucks.
Yeah. But then the plot holes actually became clues.
Yeah.
Like
those plot holes were purposely there.
Yeah, and it's not like they retroactively justified it. It was put there on purpose to make you think, you know.
Fucking Mike Schur.
And of course, the actual hole.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So I mean, the Good Place is just genius. It's a story about trying to be good and the difference between trying and being good. It's all about intentions, right?
And what the hell is good?
Yes, what the hell is good?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so subjective, right? According to societal norms, etc., etc.
Exactly.
And it's also a workplace comedy.
It's a Mike Schur thing, so it's going to be a workplace comedy.
Mike Schur, for those of you who don't know, worked on The Office, founded Parks and Recreation, co-founded Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So obviously the king of workplace comedy.
Yeah.
But this is just the bureaucracy of Satan.
Of hell.
Of hell, yeah. They're, like you see Michael, who's also named after Michael Schur, working in like the hell office in his cubicle, and it really does feel hellish actually. You know.
That was one of the clues also, like the office space that I was in.
Yeah,
it was like just too not heaven-like.
I think one of the really big standout points for The Good Place for me is like on top of a great story, on top of these great like
and the big reveal.
And the big reveal, and just the great storytelling that they've been doing so far is the fact that they try to weave in all these like moral philosophy kind of leanings. So talking about Heidegger, talking about Kant, and so on and so forth.
They're just name dropping,
and they're just like name dropping these really big ideas.
I mean, it's a good way. It's like a philosophy 101 class, you know.
Yeah, and it's great because they illustrate those really big ideas in very simple ways, but you need to kind of pay attention, or it's something that is an aha moment like after you're done watching the episode. So it's been I mean, the reveal, I think I saw it coming a bit earlier than I had wanted to, but that was a great payoff.
It
was really important.
I'm very enamored by shows that I was so willing to upend the very premise it's built on. So early on. This feels to me like it's a series finale kind of reveal, and they did it in the end of the first season, and I'm just blown away by like the creative risk that they take And sometimes if you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, they kind of write themselves to a corner sometimes, and then they next season they're like, we'll figure a way out of this, and I like that Don't waste time. Pull out the big guns and you
Yeah.
figure it out. And similar to that is iZombie. I'm not sure whether like either of you watch iZombie. I'm a big
I haven't
fan.
caught up yet.
I
I know that the world is now just zombies.
So iZombie in its season 3 finale, Looking for Mr. Goodbrain Part 2, it upends its very premise. The entire premise of the show is Liv is a zombie. Liv must hide being a zombie from the world.
Makes sense.
Liv eats Liv eat brains because she's a zombie.
Yeah.
But then she retains the memories, and then because she's a coroner, she helps solve their murders, etc. Procedural, right, all the way. So season 3 upends that by like having a fake flu crisis, and all the vaccinations is the zombie virus. So Seattle overnight becomes a zombie town.
Yeah, everybody's a zombie.
Everybody is a zombie, and that radically changes the premise. I don't know where it's going to go in season 4.
But it's exciting as fuck.
But it's exciting as fuck. Rob Thomas, not Matchbox 20 Rob Thomas. The creator of it's also named Rob Thomas.
Okay.
Funnily enough, the season finale of season 2 had the actual Rob Thomas, Matchbox 20 Rob Thomas, who was eaten by a zombie, which is quite funny. Yeah, Rob Thomas also wrote Veronica Mars, another really good show.
Oh yeah.
This show is basically Veronica Mars, but she's a zombie.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of the tonal like compliments with a lot of the tonal things in the show does complement Veronica Mars.
Yeah. So it's the quirky, quippy, noir, detective driven.
Yeah.
But at the same time has a larger overarching mystery that is beyond mini mysteries. So iZombie is
I'll definitely catch up now.
a close undead cousin of Veronica Mars, and you definitely need to catch up.
Nice.
Rob Thomas, amazing. I guess the other Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20 also can lah. Let's talk about what else. What else have we seen this year? What does everyone think of Legion?
Well,
Love it.
It's a noir film. It's an art house film. It's an art house TV series.
It is. It's so unabashedly art house, isn't
Right?
it? It's so artful. It plays with things like memory and reality and chronology in what
The
should
unreliable narrator.
in what should be confusing to a storyteller and to a viewer, instead becomes a storytelling flourish. Which is so good. I mean,
Which is rare for a network show.
it's not a network show, it's an FX.
For FX, yes.
It's a cable show.
It's rare for base. No, it's not that rare for.
And all the more for the cable show.
Oh yeah. And what Legion does so well is that like it kind of, you think you're going into a superhero show, but then you get this weird ass art house film, and each of its various 8 chapters, 6 or 8 chapters, all felt different, and they all had like kind of different stylistic flourishes in each one, and they never repeated a trick. Yeah. So sometimes they did like black and white silent movie, or they did a dance sequence. Or everything in between lah. But they never repeated a technique.
They didn't.
And Noah Hawley has shown some art house flourishes in his other show Fargo, but never to this extent, where it's just like full 60 minutes of just like, this is weird.
But because the guy has a brain condition.
I mean, he has the Shadow King in there.
Yeah. But I mean, the balls to lean into art house, right?
Yeah.
As a genre piece, is pretty insane.
Yeah. And one of the things that I really wanted to talk about and stand out for episode 6, chapter 6, was Aubrey Plaza.
And the portrayal of the Shadow King.
/ Lenny Basker / Shadow King.
Yeah.
Doing this dance number which takes place in a mental hospital in her head to Nina Simone. It was kind of like an opening sequence to a 007 movie.
Yeah.
But in a more weirder, creepier way.
Kind of.
But at the same time, it turns you on, you know?
A bit. I mean, also all this.
Aubrey Plaza is hot lah. Yeah, but
in a weird, quirky way.
Speaking of Aubrey Plaza, right? She's always been known as Aubrey Plaza, right?
Yeah.
I play Aubrey Plaza in Parks and Recreation, and I play that in every other movie.
In movie type.
But this is the first time I've seen her do horror. Like she was legitimately scary. You know?
This was the first time Aubrey Plaza wasn't Aubrey Plaza. Look at all her movies that she's been, right?
Yeah.
It's just a version of Aubrey Plaza.
This is Aubrey Plaza and more.
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciate.
She was only Aubrey Plaza when she was a mental patient.
Yeah.
But everything else was just what?
No, I mean, for me, she really did make Shadow King scary.
Which
Right?
is
And
weird,
something
right?
to be feared. You know,
Aubrey Plaza,
in not like a horror kind of way, but just like unnerving to no end. And I love that.
It's
I love that she got the chance to do that.
I mean, the most straightforward scare was whoever was in the devil in the yellow eyes fat suit.
Yeah.
And that was like a visual fright.
Yeah.
But what's frightening about the Shadow King itself as Aubrey Plaza is that like if she was in your mind, I could imagine myself being charmed and wanting to go with her. You know, like she would take me to the dark side, and that's what's scary about her.
I wouldn't mind.
Well, that's why you're like Ray. You just went to the dark side. You didn't even resist it. Oh my god. Yeah.
Talk about Force. The Last Jedi eventually.
I mean, I feel like 2017 has just been clouded by Trump and the Last Jedi.
Yeah.
It's so the only thing people are talking about.
that's right.
Yeah. If the only other thing that will make it more topical if like Snoke was Trump and then Rey was actually harassed by her.
If Rey was Hillary Clinton.
Oh my god.
Let's not go there.
Wow, where have we gone? Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
We'll go on to another. Let's talk about some movies. We haven't talked about movies yet, right?
Yeah.
We'll cover a couple of movies. Something that I felt that was similar in tone to The Punisher was Logan.
Logan, yes.
Kind of
decided to go R-rated with this.
Yeah, kind of about like the woke wariness of Logan.
Yeah.
And okay, for those of you who don't know, Logan is Hugh Jackman's last ever
Wolverine role.
stint as Wolverine.
Yeah.
And throughout the bad, of which there have been many, and throughout the good,
There's a few.
yeah, Hugh Jackman has always displayed this kind of like thespian commitment
To Wolverine.
to Wolverine,
Yeah.
even in bullshit like X-Men Origin.
Yeah.
And it's about time
Wolverine Origin.
yeah, X-Men Origins Wolverine, yeah. And it's about time that they rewarded Hugh Jackman's talent with a movie that is worthy
Of his acting chops.
of his acting chops, and also a movie worthy of Wolverine's R-rated legacy in the comic
Yes,
books.
thank you.
Like, this is Wolverine uncuffed, you know.
Yeah.
It's a simple thing. You want to see Punisher shoot people.
Yeah.
You want to see Wolverine stab people,
And we get to see that a lot.
and you get to see it stab to the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like right off the bat.
Right off the bat, you know,
Killed all those
those
Mexican guys.
cholos, you know.
Trying to like steal his tires.
Yeah. You even get a flash of boob at one point. It's like, whoa, this is really R-rated. You know? But what up, James Mangold? Yeah.
I think
You have to
Jackman,
live up to that.
Jackman paid his dues, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like he's so ingrained in the mind of an entire generation that he is Wolverine. They said, I want to make one last movie. If you want the money, let me do how I want.
Yeah.
You know, and he got away with that.
And we were talking about the tonal elasticity of a superhero genre.
Exactly.
And everyone was talking about superhero fatigue. But superhero isn't like one thing.
Yeah.
It can be many things. And in this particular instance, it is a western.
Yeah.
A gritty cowboy at the end of his last ride western.
Very true grit kind.
Very true grit, yeah. I could imagine Clint Eastwood directing this or something, but it was James Mangold.
James Mangold.
So
Yeah, good
it's
job.
tonal elasticity much in the same way that like Thor Ragnarok was a comedy. This is a flat out comedy. So it can be many different things. And
I
superhero,
mean, that's the evolution of the genre itself.
yeah,
Like, we've already seen Iron Man 2. We've already seen the various incarnations of Batman, you know. So, I guess it's just a natural evolution to explore things that you wouldn't naturally explore. lah.
exactly.
So, Thor being a fucking comedy after the first two movies, you
Yeah.
didn't think that was possible. It is possible.
yeah,
And yeah, this Logan, you know, after we have X2, which I think was a good X-Men movie.
sure, yeah. I think it was, one
One
of
of
the
the
best
better
that
ones.
Bryan Singer ever did.
Yeah, for sure.
And the shit like X3 and you
I
know,
thought First Class was fantastic.
exactly.
I thought this a feature class, while flawed,
It was a good film.
actually managed to retcon in a film,
Yeah.
which I've
The
never
entire
seen
timeline.
done before.
Yeah.
I mean, comic book fans are like, oh, okay, we know what retcons are. It happens like
All the fucking
once a
time.
year, basically. I've never seen it done in a film franchise
Yeah.
where they
One
use
movie.
time travel to
Yeah.
retcon everything. It's like, fuck you, Brett Ratner. You, like,
Brilliant, man.
you asshole sexual abuser person.
Hi,
Get out of
Bryan-
here. We'll
Isn't
remove
Bryan
the...
Singer, so
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
Apparently.
apparently.
Allegedly. Shall
yeah.
we say.
Yeah, never mind. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Logan, I felt was such a. I wouldn't say it was a risk.
Oh, I thought it was a risk.
Yeah.
It was ambitious.
It's less of a risk after Deadpool proved that you can make money with an R-rated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
again,
But it was-
But it's
tone of
totally so different from Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, and we've never seen a Wolverine this. I mean, unless you read the comics, then you know Wolverine can be like this.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, precisely.
So this introduction of this kind of Wolverine, even though I was a bit like sad that it was a totally different world than the old man Logan's world,
Yeah.
the Mad Max-esque old man Logan's world.
Well, you want them to get Hawkeye.
But yeah, like,
and
exactly.
Hulk,
So that's why.
you know.
Yeah.
I guess
that's
now
what
Disney
we
can
know.
do that, but you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
but eventually,
Speaking
yeah.
of which, right, we're talking about tonal flexibility and like the kind of risk that they took making Logan that way.
Yeah.
But now that all of that is coming back into the fold for Disney,
yeah.
right?
Where are we going?
Yeah, where are we gonna go with that? Because the shift from what they had with Thor 1 and Thor 2
Yeah.
to what Taika Waititi did with Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It's a very, very different kind of direction.
True.
Or a very different kind of flexibility from that as compared to what they did with Wolverine into Logan.
But
Right.
for all the people who say that like MCU movies are basically just a bunch of heroes fighting the giant swirl of garbage in the sky, granted Suicide Squad was also that lah.
Yeah.
But you know, many superhero movies are just like, oh my god, thing in
There's
the
a hole in the
sky,
sky.
we have to stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time, you have to think like, look at what Winter Soldier was. It was a paranoid spy thriller. Look at what Guardians of the Galaxy was, which was a space opera that was Star Wars as better than what Star Wars has done since.
Yeah.
Look at Thor Ragnarok, you know, for example. Look at what Black Panther is going to be, or what it's shaping up to be.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's not the kind of same thing. Are we still going to see stuff like Logan come out now that Disney has folded everything back?
Feige wants to. Apparently, Bob Iger, who is head of Disney, head of Disney, says that he's open to R rating.
Yeah.
Which is encouraging already.
Yeah.
That's good.
It will. What I think will happen is that the R rating at Disney will heavily depend on how well Deadpool 2 does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Those are the
Okay.
ones that are already in the can. I guess.
Deadpool 2 is in the can. Disney bought it already.
Yeah.
So if it does not do well, R rating is gone.
Gone.
If it does well, they want to keep it.
There's a lot at stake, right? Because I really want to see a solid X-23 movie, and
Yeah.
the fact, like,
And I
Daphne
want
Keane-
James Mangold to do it, the same director.
exactly,
yeah.
right? And Daphne Keane is a revelation. She really, really is.
Yeah.
Also, I love the fact that X-23 is not a comic book character. She started off as a TV character.
Yes.
Yeah, in a cartoon.
In a
Yeah.
cartoon.
And then she's an adaptation from on screen back to page, back to
Back to
screen.
screen,
You know,
exactly.
but this time live action.
Yeah.
And the particular moment that I wanted to talk about in Logan is, you know, like
The death scene.
Logan dying lah.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, Daddy.
Ah,
X-23
man.
calling.
That brought tears to my eyes.
Was it Papa or Daddy? It's
Papa.
Daddy, right?
Was it?
Papa?
I think Papa.
Oh yeah, so
She's
oh,
Mexican.
so sad. Yeah. She's because she's Mexican. Don't be racist.
No, I mean, that's what Mexicans call their fathers, right? Papa.
Yeah. And they also like this whole movie is about her trying to cross the border, right?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. To Canada. though.
Canada.
They were going to Canada though. So that's I guess that makes it okay.
Also, little known fact, Logan is Canadian.
Yes! Oh my god. People keep thinking like he's in the Civil War, he's in Vietnam, World War II, he must be American. No.
He's Canadian as fuck.
The fucker should be in Alpha Flight.
He was.
He was, yeah.
For a while only.
But then he became too popular.
He was
It's
like, we need to put you in a more popular team.
yeah. It's like, you know, the guy that really made it big from like Old Town and now he has to join NSYNC.
Yeah.
Yeah. And wow, this is a weird analogy. Let's move on.
Yeah. What else?
Let's talk about the other kind of like culture zeitgeist movie of the year.
Ooh.
Logan, as good as it was, right? It wasn't the cultural zeitgeist movie
Zeitgeist.
in geekdom of
Did you
this
say
year.
Zeitgeist?
Zeitgeist.
Like Poltergeist?
yeah.
So what movie?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
And
Netflix,
the particular scene I wanted to talk about was the No Man's Land
Land.
moments, where Wonder Woman kind of goes out of the foxhole,
Yeah.
defeats the German forces single-handedly,
Yup.
and just like the sense of empowerment. None of us here are women, you know, and
We're
I
not.
felt empowered. I was like, yeah. And I can only imagine how it must have been like for a female who has been waiting 75 years since Wonder Woman has come out.
Yep.
All the
To
young
see-
girls doing this.
To see a representation like this finally happen on screen
And like the weird
from
thing,
a main protagonist.
yeah, exactly.
It's a long
kinda
time
cool,
coming. And it was just such a powerful moment. It made me tear up. It made me want. I'm gonna talk about a guy now, but I don't mean to like undermine the
Go,
feminism
go,
of Wonder
don't
Woman. But Wonder Woman was more Superman than Superman ever was in this
Yeah.
DCEU.
Yeah,
True.
for sure.
The sense of hope and optimism and
Yeah.
all of that, you know.
Which we kind of saw
And Justice League,
in Justice League.
too little, too late.
A little.
I'm glad that he came back, but we already have our Superman, and she's called Wonder Woman.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting that right now in the comics as well for DC, Wonder Woman is so much more right than what Superman
Yeah.
is at this moment. Like, we are struggling with issues of identity, with rebirth, and all of
Yeah.
that. But Wonder Woman is the god of war,
Yeah.
kicking asses and taking names,
Exactly.
right? And chiding Batman and Superman about leaving their villains.
Before retconning, like.
Yeah, before the reckoning. So I mean, it's been great, right? And I think like the entire idea with that, there was that little video of Gal
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot, though she was talking to a little girl who was crying when she met them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You
so
know,
sweet.
and like
Yeah.
I mean, all these things are so important. But
It is.
yet at the same time, in 2017, there are idiots who are protesting like all women screenings of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
That is not our place.
Or like, you know,
You know?
I mean, not to bring this back to Star Wars again, but the alt-right trolls who spam Rotten Tomatoes because there was too much female representation. And too much like Latino and black representation in The Last Jedi, and apparently that's the reason that they hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, as weird as it sounds, right, and as much as I disagree with Star Wars fanboys who are like, that's not my look, that's a more valid reason than this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is. I mean, we can get into the Star Wars thing all again. Is that, look, Luke Skywalker was such a influential pop culture icon,
Yeah.
right?
It's been so for 50 years.
Yeah, and like, you know, all that hope and all that legacy
I
that
see
he
what you
had.
did there. Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad, right? Not bad, right? Yeah. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
You know, the legacy that he had. Yeah, fanboys will be butthurt. I really understand why, because he was just a grumpy old man in the end.
But
Devastated and destroyed.
the disconstruction of a
Yeah.
legend is interesting in
Exactly.
itself. Yeah.
So the reaction that the boys had, I'm sure that was what Ryan Johnson would want also. You to react that way.
Yeah.
To see your legend destroyed. How
Sure.
Ray reacted was how fanboys were reacting.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
but
what the fuck is this?
I think at the same time, it's so uncalled for. I do think that Mark Hamill had a lot more fun playing himself as Luke Skywalker,
Yeah.
as opposed to anything else. But
I mean-
so much time has passed since
Yeah.
Luke has been around.
What, 30 years, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Shit happens, you know.
No, like both
Shit
in
happens.
both in our reality and within the story of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right. Who is to say what Luke is supposed to be anymore?
Exactly.
You know, I don't think he knows that anymore.
Correct, yeah.
Though he did complain about the writing that Luke, he was very adamant that they change it.
Yeah.
But
But he's Mark Hamill lah.
Mark Hamill was the first person who was like, that's not my look.
that's not my Luke.
Hashtag.
Yeah. Ooh, that was a sidetrack.
Right, yeah. Since everything comes back to Star Wars, right, let's talk about Star Wars Rebels.
Okay, so Star Wars Rebels.
Love Star Wars Rebels.
You haven't watched it yet.
I have not seen this,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hidzir hasn't watched it. Hidzir has.
I understand the significance of Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is
The scene.
the climactic battle that we're
Yeah.
talking about here. Carry it away, guys.
Okay, so the prequel's not so great, but there was a character called Darth Maul. And he was very quiet.
Well, I mean, Darth Maul was one of the best things out of the prequels,
Yeah,
right?
he was cool,
And
not much words.
and they did him a lot of justice in Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars, the first animated series post prequels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
prequels, which was great, and it kind of it didn't.
It fleshed him out as a character, gave him a lot more depth, a lot of history.
Well, basically
Right.
gave the whole
Yeah.
like
What was
prequel
missing lah.
trilogy
Yeah.
a lot of history.
One thing, the prequels were significantly improved because of the Clone Wars animated series.
Yes.
And so, significantly improved. I mean,
No, I understand. I'm just saying that, like, just
you
because...
shouldn't have to
Yeah,
depend on
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I know.
yeah.
That, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Sorry.
we always have this argument. And then, so Rebels comes. Rebels, the Clone Wars series is in between 2 and 3.
Yes.
Rebels is in between 3 and 4.
Yep. Right.
Right-
Actually, right up
Right
till-
before 4.
Right
before New Hope. Sorry. Rogue One.
One.
Rogue
Yeah,
One. Yes.
Exactly. Right. Which is great.
Yeah.
I think like what's important about this scene, right? And one of the best scenes we've seen in the series, one of the best fight scenes we've seen in the series, is that it builds upon Darth Maul's character development from Clone Wars
to Rebels.
into Rebels,
Yeah.
right? And that entire arc and his face up with Obi-Wan Kenobi is so important because for once, right,
Closure.
it's closure.
For both of them.
Exactly, it's closure for both of them. So they tie it up very, very neatly.
Yeah.
First of all, but what I feel is very, very important is you actually have a character that is built on the other animated series and had really, really nothing to do with the movies anymore.
Yeah, no more. None of them actually. Both of them.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's great, and I think the fact that the Star Wars animated series, both of them have been really have been quite a revelation
Yeah.
in terms of what you can do.
I mean,
outside of
exactly, the movies,
the movie franchise.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, it was so brilliant. So it was just a very simple scene, like 2 minutes long, like him confronting Obi-Wan. He says some stuff. Obi-Wan says some stuff. You know, then they have like a 3-second battle where Obi-Wan just totally annihilates the shit out of Darth Maul.
yeah,
And as Darth Maul was dying, the lines, is he the one?
Yeah.
Asking about Luke, whether he is the one, and Obi-Wan confidently saying he is. I was like, oh man, tears, man. Like as you two of you being your each other's enemies for so long, and in that moment, both of them were united in that fact that there is a new hope.
There are a lot of people who may not, taken out of context, that particular fight scene, short anticlimactic. Some would say taken out of context.
Of course,
but you gotta have context. It's all about context.
And the context is that fucking legacy of the 6 movies, the animated series, and all other canon around . And the thing about Star Wars, even though they revamped, they pushed all the books out, like all the Timothy Zahn books are now legends, right? So no longer canon.
Yep.
But Timothy Zahn is back on board. His recent novel Tron is now canon, and it ties in very well with Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
Then the other Tarkin also now has a novel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to tie into just to give more background to old movies lah.
Yeah.
So they're rebuilding it now. They're being very careful in rebuilding this entire thing.
A lot of Star Wars fans were very precious about extended universe.
Yeah, the extended
so
universe.
precious about it.
It
to the point where they forgot that like 80% of the EU was rubbish. It was fan fiction.
The EU was the Wild West.
Yeah.
Basically, right?
Yeah.
These writers just took whatever liberties that they
And
wanted.
what you want to say about Disney is that like they're kind of cherry picking the best of the EU and
which
kind
they
of
did lah.
remaking it. Yeah.
I mean, there were really only 2 significant characters from the expanded universe. One was Tron, right? Which now he is canon.
Yeah.
And the other one was Mara Jade.
Which I am very sad.
Which because
she's not.
She's not gonna be because she's supposed to be Luke's wife
Exactly.
Yeah. But then whatever it is, Star Wars is awesome.
Yes, we like The Last Jedi. Some of you don't, and that's cool.
Yeah.
cool.
That's totally
And we're not
fine.
liking it because we're being contrarian.
Yeah.
We have legit reasons why we like The Last Jedi.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it's a flawless movie.
Oh, that was a
Like
lot
it's
of-
not like a
it's so many things.
it's not like a
wrong with
masterpiece or anything lah. But there is an in between the best thing ever and the worst thing ever. And fanboys, whenever they rate something, it's either the best thing ever or the worst thing ever. What about the giant chasm, Grand Canyon in between lah? Something can be okay. It doesn't have to be like that lah. Speaking of something that was polarizing and that's something that we liked more than most people was Justice League.
it. Justice League.
I think like me and Hardi went to watch Justice League.
Watched it twice.
I watched it twice. I heard bad reviews, but I had a lot of fun with it.
Me too.
It was quite.
It's nowhere near Wonder Woman lah.
It's not even anywhere near The Last Jedi.
But
But it was fun.
it was fun.
But I also believe right that we were in a DC TV mindset
Yeah.
where this wasn't like Crisis on Infinite Earths or anything lah.
Yeah.
And in fact, Crisis on Infinite Earths was far better than this.
Exactly.
But it gave me some of the team up feels that I want for its pacing, structure, editing. Oh my god, acting, myriad of problems fake mustache and all.
Ooh.
For all its problems, right, every 5 minutes there was a fist pump moment, like
Yes, that's
like,
what we're looking for.
Like like you turn around to the person behind you in the cinema, like high five, and sometimes that's enough.
Yeah.
And there were enough of those moments here,
I
including post-credit sequence, Deathstroke meeting Lex Luthor, which is fucking cool.
To form the
Injustice
Gang.
Yeah. In fact, his actual line was, "Why don't we form a league of our own?"
Yeah.
At which I turned to Hardi, it's like, "Are they gonna form a girls' baseball team?" If you've not,
That's a movie.
if you've not watched the 90s Kevin Costner movie, A League of Your Own, please do it. It's quite heartwarming.
It's one of the coolest sports movies.
Yeah. But like, then we started like fanficking, like, oh my god, what if Deathstroke and Lex Luthor actually started a women's baseball team?
Like he's the manager and GM.
Yeah. I would watch the hell out of
I
that,
would.
actually. But that's why we don't run the DCEU.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why we have a podcast.
yeah. Although I'm not gonna say like not gonna diss people, but I think I might do a better job than
Sometimes.
Yeah.
In some movies.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad.
My biggest thing right is that coming out from
Oh, if you all didn't catch that, Justice League that was we were talking about Justice League's end sequence credit. That's one of our
post-credit sequence. Yes.
Post-credit sequence.
Yeah, it's one of our moments. And that was one of those, what we're talking about, fist pumping, high five. There was some audible gasps.
There was.
That kind of stuff.
Quite
It's
a few
very
times.
cool. The return of the Superman I've always wanted.
Yes.
Hope.
Hope.
Hopeful, Boy Scout.
Ooh, and then the use of the
John
Superman
Williams
theme.
score.
Oh.
Yeah. It was all very brilliantly done. What I want from the DCEU and what is so sad about their upcoming slate is that there is no Man of Steel 2 coming up.
There is no Man of Steel.
Up until they have planned until like 2025, and there's no Man of Steel 2. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
It's Superman, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Booster Gold here.
Do you feel that
it's fucking Superman? You know?
I know, but don't you feel that DC has become a little bit risk adverse when it comes to Superman?
I feel Man of Steel was plenty risky.
Yeah, Man of Steel was.
No, I mean to do another one.
Yes.
Maybe.
But then they're planning to do Suicide Squad 2, so you know.
Yeah, maybe they're not that risk adverse after all.
I've always been of the opinion that all DCEU needs to do is bring the movies as close as possible to the animated movie universe.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
That's all they need to do. And I think that's
true.
why Justice League felt fun. Because that was as close as they've
It was,
ever gotten.
I said it in a Facebook post that like Justice League to me felt like a Justice League animated movie, and I don't mean that as an insult.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
they
like,
were great.
it's the best thing coming out of DC right now.
I mean,
Like,
remember
hands
like
down.
Justice League Dark when they brought in magic and shit into the thing. It worked.
Yeah, and Justice League was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
A lot of the criticism warranted, but the harshness of it was unwarranted.
Unwanted, yeah.
And we enjoyed it. It was fucking fun.
And it was far from a worst movie.
And all I want from the DCU right now is for Patty Jenkins to do a Superman movie.
Yes, can we get her, please?
Yeah, Patty
Not us,
Jenkins.
but
Patty Jenkins is okay. What would she be doing?
Man of Steel 2, she will be doing Superman for all seasons.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I'm down with
Something like a timeless classic feel, Superman being Superman.
Yeah.
All-Star Superman.
Or you could do All-Star, either Superman for all seasons or All-Star Superman are like the two go-tos for classic Superman that can be recontextualized in a modern time.
Asian Superman.
For the China market, if they want money.
Why not?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, nothing against Chinese people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that came out of nowhere.
No, because there was a
There is.
Recon already, right?
I know.
No, they haven't
Oh, they haven't recon, right? He's still
They have
Chinese
that-
Superman, right?
They have a Trinity
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
Like the DC Trinity exists in China.
There we go.
And they have
Yeah.
their own comic book series, which is
Better
amazing.
than what Marvel is doing. Marvel has
For a moment, right?
Marvel's
in DC,
China superhero is this guy called is his powers
is the will of the people.
is the will of the
Yeah.
people.
So Marvel has been doing very well with representing Latinos, blacks, LGBT, women. The Asians not so much.
Not yet lah.
Not yet.
Because look at Iron Fist.
Well,
It was a product of the 60s.
I know, but it could have
height of
it could have been
Yeah.
done so much better. But okay, never mind. Let's not talk about Iron
Okay,
Fist.
Yeah.
let's stop.
Let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah. I would like to say the Immortal Iron Fist run.
Ren,
I would love
Danny
to
Rand.
watch.
Danny Ren.
Immortal Iron Fist run was fucking amazing. If you think Iron Fist is lame, pick up that run.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Fucking amazing.
I would
That's
watch
true.
Immortal Iran Face too.
Yeah.
Immortal Iran Fist.
Yeah.
Don't know
Oh
what
my
the
god,
fuck.
yeah, of a Persian
why
guy
not?
from Iran,
Yeah.
becoming like the new defender of Kundun. Sure,
I will watch that.
why
I
not?
Yeah. What's next?
What's next? Okay, let's talk about something that is more universally loved. Something that is less divisive. Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh,
Which, not a great movie,
Yeah,
but
it's
a
a
good
good
movie.
movie.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It recaptured the youth and
Of Peter
of Peter
Parker.
Parker, which was missing.
Yeah.
His
He doesn't look like a 30-year-old
Tobey
with a
Maguire.
weird New York accent.
Okay, Tobey Maguire was a 31-year-old man with a Midwestern accent,
Midwestern, yes.
passing off as like a 16-year-old boy in high school.
Yeah.
Which
Who's
is
supposed to have an accent from Queens?
New
right?
York it does.
Cannot.
It's fucking weird lah.
Cannot.
Andrew Garfield slightly better, but way too cool looking to be
Yeah.
Peter Parker.
There's no way he's gonna get bullied in school.
Yeah, I mean the fucker like skateboarded onto his graduation, which
Yeah.
is
That win already.
the coolest thing that
Exactly.
anybody in that school has ever done.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like Tom Holland has like the nice mix of like scrawny, geeky, kind of good looking. You can kind of see that he's good looking, but
But
he's
nerdy
not
also.
so good looking
Yeah.
that so obviously good looking like Andrew
Andrew
Garfield. Is,
Garfield.
yeah. He has the Queen accent down. He has the kind of like he has a bit of ADHD kind of vibes.
A bit.
Which is very modern.
The nerdy geeky guy lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing about Spider-Man that people frequently forget is
He's
that
a teenager.
he's a kid lah.
Yeah.
Which is why the scene with Vulture
In the car.
in the car as he's dropping Liz and him off to the prom was
It's very
so
prominent.
remarkable to me lah.
Yeah, and also that one of the criticisms for that scene was that Vulture was just with a gun.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man is Spider-Man.
But to me, that's what elevated. The
Exactly, because that was how fucking scary he was. right?
People,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. No, here's a man who has played Batman.
Exactly.
And then Birdman. And
now the
then
Vulture.
Another Birdman.
Yeah.
Right? And all it really took was for him to be a father.
Yeah.
To scare the shit out of a boy with superpowers, which I think
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah, which I really like that scene because look, Spider-Man's supposed to be powerful with all these powers and all that, and he was paralyzed. He couldn't do anything.
People forget that power level doesn't matter because it's
Exactly.
all about your confidence. right?
Exactly.
This is a man talking to a boy. The boy
Yeah.
will be scared.
Exactly, and it was such a threatening scowl on that
No,
on
but-
Kevin Costner's face.
But
Kevin Costner.
Sorry, Michael Keaton. Sorry, Kevin Costner's Waterworld.
yeah.
Same era, lah, all of them.
Whoa,
No,
but
I mean,
very
like-
vastly different power levels.
Yeah, that's different power level. I still think like Michael Keaton as a father in that car was so much more powerful and so much more scary than
Than
Vulture
Vulture.
ever was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire movie.
Or 99% of most MCU villains.
Yeah.
Because we've already seen that. We've already seen a villain in a suit destroying things.
Sure,
right?
sure. But I mean, I can't help but ask, like, what if they decided to do Vulture differently, right?
Like
They
how?
might,
Right. If they
Like an old
instead-
geriatric man.
not the old geriatric, not
'Cause
the
that's the
like
usual Vulture, lah.
What was it, like the Fountain of Youth? Like he sucks the health out of like young people, right?
can't
That was the
remember.
original Vulture.
Yeah, most probably. Yeah.
No, I mean, like I just wonder because while the motivations were clear
Yeah, I like that he was a working man. You kind of
Yeah.
get where he's coming from.
and all that
It was really
great,
Tony Stark's fault.
but
Yeah.
you know, I just wish they could have transferred that menace. Right in the
Into-
car scene into the actual Vulture character itself.
a lot of it was the
Oh.
prosthetics and the mask and all
Yeah,
that.
right. Because
I guess.
he went from being so scary in that to in like the final fight scene being a caricature, right?
Yeah.
And of course, Vulture has never been like a big like
No.
part of Spider-Man's rogue gallery or anything.
He's
of
on
sort.
the like B-list.
Yeah, but-
C-list actually.
But he was one of the originals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he was one of the others. But to me,
But
I
also
just
old
wonder if they could have done more with that.
I understand where you're
it's,
coming
It's a
from.
bit of a waste of Michael Keaton to me. If
But-
his showcase was just that one scene.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
But that showcase of that one scene was enough.
Spectacular.
Yeah,
it
it
was,
was spectacular.
it
For me lah.
It was worthy of that paycheck. lah.
Yeah,
for sure.
and,
Because-
yeah.
Sorry. Because look, Vulture flying around in the suit and all that. I don't think that there was any much more that they could have done with that. Like it was a very typical kind of villain, right?
Sure.
He's on a road to vengeance he was on the road to make as much money as he can.
Sure.
For his family.
Right?
For his family, yeah.
He has a clear motivation.
Walter White.
Yeah. Right? A
Yeah.
Walter White kind of villain.
Yeah.
So it wasn't it wasn't scary because you understood that motivation. You're like, okay, I get this guy.
Yeah, and that
And-
was
yeah.
that was very clear cut, right?
Yeah.
I did like the fact that he was working. I did like the fact that he's trying to provide for
Yeah.
his family,
Yeah.
and all that anxiety stems from
Yeah.
the fact that you have these like superpowered beings like running around, aliens dropping into the
Yeah,
sky.
exactly.
Sure, all that great setup,
Yeah.
great setup.
For street level, right? Yeah.
But I just wish they could have done more.
yeah.
I
don't have-
I agree with that. They could have.
They definitely could. Because like I look at some of the greatest actors of our time, like, and I think it's not exaggeration to say that someone like Oscar Isaac is one of them. But look at how he was impeded by the Apocalypse prosthetics.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't see his eyes, you couldn't see his
Couldn't see
facial
anything.
expressions, so he couldn't act.
Yeah.
It's all in the face.
And then
you
when
can't
you
see the
see
face,
him
you
in,
know.
what's that?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it takes a very different kind of actor. to be
Andy
able to do that.
Serkis is
Andy
a
Serkis
is a more physical.
is a more
kind of
physical.
actor.
Sure, but again, that's mocap, right? And that's
Mocap.
a completely different thing. And he's made it his own.
Yeah.
But what about say,
Andy Serkis was nominated for a Golden Globe, by the way, for
Yeah.
playing Caesar.
Yeah.
First ever mocap Oscar
Mocap, correct.
nomination, right? And it could be-
Because of the technology, we
yeah?
talk about
But
that.
I mean, like it could be that. Let's talk about villains that you couldn't even see the actor in the first place because it's all CGI,
a lot, man.
right? And
Quite
it's
a few.
all about the voice.
Lee Pace as Ronan the Accuser. Lee
Yeah.
Pace, fantastic actor. Hot and Catch Fire, Missing Daisies. You know, if you've seen.
Yeah. But a lot of that got lost again,
Yeah,
right?
I think
in
was
the
it
thing.
David Tennant, Dark
Purple Man.
Elf. Oh yeah, sorry, Purple, not Purple Man. The other Doctor Who. I forgot his name, but he was the Dark Elf in Thor: The Dark World.
okay.
A bit of a waste as well.
Yeah, that was a
Who
huge
was that?
waste.
It was one of the Doctor Who's.
I can't remember who.
That is not Jodie Whittaker. That much I'm certain.
It's not Peter Capaldi, right?
Not Peter
No,
Capaldi.
right. Too old.
And then there is the list goes on. You have guys like Mickey Rourke was actually kind of wasted in Iron Man 2 too. Such a great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what you gonna do? Superhero shows, They need the prosthetics. I think eventually they'll get around it. I feel that Josh Brolin as Thanos showed enough emotion in that trailer.
But I think it really
It's so mocap,
it's
right?
about the voice that carries it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree with the voice.
Like, let's just look at James.
Earl Jones.
No,
McAvoy?
James McAvoy.
Bond?
Blunt.
Who we talking about? Isa Fong.
Ultron.
Oh, James Spader.
Yeah. Right? I mean,
Another fantastic actor, kind of wasted.
kind of wasted, but at the
Because
same
he
time,
was
there
a
was
robot?
something incredibly menacing about
About
his
his voice.
voice alone.
Yeah, just
You
because
could
it's
close
James
your
Spader.
eye. Yeah, but I mean, and of course, so I wonder if does it really take a different kind of actor? Does it
It
take
does.
a different
To deliver that kind of menacing line,
with no clue whatsoever,
Yeah.
because it's not like Circus where you have your mocap and all of that.
Yeah.
Right, it's just CGI and a voice, which I
Okay.
think is pretty brilliant.
And before we move on from Spider-Man,
what's up?
I would just like to mention that there is one other moment in Spider-Man Homecoming that almost made it to the list. And this is the first time I didn't think that Spider-Man can be shocking. Because
Yeah.
everybody knows what Spider-Man is, right?
Which one is it?
But when Peter Parker goes to Liz's house and opens the door,
Ah.
and the
Oh.
vulture is the
Father.
father, there's like audible gasps
Yes.
in the cinema. I gasped.
I gasp.
I did not see that coming.
On the second viewing, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but then when the first
in
time
the
you
moment,
saw it,
right,
right,
I was really taken aback.
Yeah, I remember that moment so well. It was like, it was a very what the fuck moment.
Yes, and it was done very well, and
It
it was
was.
the most what the fuck moment in MCU this year.
Yeah, it was.
And it came from a Sony movie.
Yeah, that was Sony slash
Yeah,
MCU lah.
Sony gets all the money lah, so I guess it counts as Sony. MCU just gets like
Come on, Sony,
control.
just give it in.
Yeah, or Disney will buy you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eventually.
I did just give me this one character, or we'll buy
Or
your
we'll buy
company.
your entire company.
We will own all the PlayStations. Yeah. I think we'll move back to a bit of TV before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
Did you guys like the Brian Fuller adaptation of American Gods?
Yes.
Love it.
First of all, I love it because why it really worked, right?
Yeah.
Is because they had Neil Gaiman as a consultant,
Yeah,
And-
and he was
and
fully
writing
on board.
scripts,
He
yeah.
was fully on board with
right?
that.
And he gave them a lot of things that weren't added in the
Yeah.
original books.
The
A lot of
expansion
the-
of the Dead Wife.
The Dead Wife, yeah.
A lot of the female characters were expanded upon.
Vulcan,
Vulcan, for
right? There was no
example,
Vulcan in the books, and now we see
Totally
Vulcan.
original
Yeah.
creation, yeah.
We expanded on the Jean sex scene and the cab driver.
Yeah,
And his
and
character.
and that to me was like the one moment of the American Gods that just American Gods about that
The
kind
dom-
of like encapsulated what American Gods was lah. Is this like, you know, America is supposed to be this melting pot of different
cultures
cultures
and all
and
that.
orientations and all of that,
Yeah.
and this Jin finding another lost soul in this was he Iranian or Qatari man who's another lost soul, and they found this connection, you know, in a cab, and they went up to a room and had sex, and it could have been exploitative or it could have been like jarring, but it was sweet and it was romantic, and it was just like
Strangely it was, yeah.
it was just like two people who found each other.
Strange not because it's homosexual. Strange because it was a fucking Jin
Yeah,
with a fucking huge penis.
it was a pretty huge dog.
By the way,
Oh my god.
That penis was CGI,
I
so
love
don't worry.
the equal opportunity nudity
Yeah.
in American Gods. I think that's
Yeah.
very, very important.
Yeah, and I
Or
mean,
CGI penis, just it's not really that big.
yeah.
Yeah, but still, you know. like-
Impressive.
Yeah,
Impressive.
exactly.
David Simon made it a point when he was making a new show called The Deuce. It's about the porn industry in the 70s and how
Yeah.
it developed. About being equal opportunity nudity lah.
Yeah.
Like if you want to show a lot of boobs and pussy, you gotta show
A
the
lot of
dick
dick,
too.
man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
right.
he did, like, you know, the elimination of the double standards there lah.
Yeah.
American Gods was part that also. Also Brian Fuller's kind of visual flourish that he kind of honed, the rich, brutal but at the same time delicious style of Hannibal, combined with kind of the whimsical, magical surrealism of Pushing Daisies, kind of like joined together and came to its apex. To me, this was prime Brian Fuller,
Yeah, it was.
and which is what makes it so sad that Brian Fuller is not coming back for season 2. And I don't think American Gods can work without him.
Yeah, I know.
The only other person I can think of is Noah Hawley, but I don't think he's gonna do it.
Well, okay. I, however, a bit more optimistic than you because I feel as long as Neil Gaiman is still around, Neil Gaiman still provides a lot of the creative input in terms of like where the story can go.
Yeah.
Because you see, the thing is, the story is already written. We know the ending. We know. Spoiler alert. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, we know where it's going to go. So the foundation is really there. Neil Gaiman still staying on as, you know, contributing to this.
Yeah.
I feel that if Brian Fuller goes, I feel that there might be someone that can be
But
not as good, but close enough.
it's all about the process, not the destination. To me, in storytelling,
I agree.
And to me, like let's say, Neil Gaiman had worked with any other artist on Sandman, it would not be the same, right?
Yeah. I agree.
And to me, Brian Fuller functions as the artist.
As the artist, like, yeah, okay. I
You know
get
what I
that,
mean?
yeah.
Like, so if you change artists, how can it go? You know.
But I still give it a chance.
I will still give it a chance because season 1 has earned my trust. But at the same time, Michael Green, who also wrote Logan, by the way, good job, and Blade Runner 2049, hell of a year for Michael Green. Also wrote American Gods, showrunner as well. He left. Brian Fuller left.
Yeah, I mean, like, it really doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Right now, anyone short of Noah Hawley coming on board doesn't.
It's the only one I trust to do this, right?
Yeah, and even then, right, knowing how contrarian Noah Hawley is, he's probably gonna flip it on his head. From what Fuller has done.
Yeah.
You know, but
I would like a distinctive art style.
Yeah, I would love for them to continue with what they've already done. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just look at Discovery, for example, right? And how basically with Fuller leaving.
Wait. Let's. This is a very divisive thing because I love Discovery.
I hate Discovery.
Okay.
He hates Discovery.
I don't. I'm kind of in between. It has its moments, and then
sure.
costume is great. I think
Set design is fucking
set
good.
design is amazing, right? But yeah, it's not a track show.
It's not.
It's a semi-track show. There are track elements to the show.
It's a track tribute.
In a way, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the best Star Trek show since the Orville.
Wow! Wow! What an
my thing
asshole.
with the Discovery is that, like, I think it's a perfectly fine space drama.
Yes.
Perfectly fine.
It's just that it tagged on the Star Trek name.
If it was
into
called Discovery in space,
Yeah.
this show
fine.
is promising. It's dope,
Okay.
but it has none of the sociological, anthropological
Okay.
aspects.
Yes,
of
I understand
Star Trek.
that.
Yeah.
We remember we argued about this.
No, I know, but we've never done it on record.
Yeah. So the thing is about this
Yeah.
is that, remember, we are trying to get new fans into this world, right? And as much as we love Star Trek, the original Star Trek, with the prime
It never had fan
directives,
base. Yeah, never made money. Yeah.
so this time, so this I felt was a good in between, like what Izer's feeling, right?
Sure,
It's
yeah.
an in between,
Sure.
where you have certain track elements,
Sure.
right? You have the Starfleet, you have the interactions between the crew members and
I
all
get
that
it.
bullshit,
Yeah.
But then you need a bit of Fleabag and Flash.
The Flash.
You know?
Okay.
Where- yeah.
I see where you're coming
Yeah.
from.
And as we progress, because what I noticed about Discovery is as it went on, right,
It became more track.
it became more tracky.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
I do have to agree with you with that lah.
But I understand when you say that it is nowhere close to like Next Generation
Because
or like Deep Space Nine.
the very first scene was of this person killing the Klingon.
Exactly.
And I was like, what kind of Star Trek show is this?
And they haven't seen a Klingon in 100 years,
where
right?
like your first act is to murder someone.
Guys, prime directive, guys, prime
This-
directive.
That's the first scene, and it just blew my mind.
Exactly, I know.
And it had such a steep hill to climb in terms of winning me back.
Also,
It
there was-
slowly is lah. Yeah lah.
There's also that one bad scene where Lorcan, who was a captain,
Yes.
who left behind the guy.
And there's so many moments that are so anti Star Trek,
Yeah.
almost flagrantly so.
because I think that was the aim. Like they wanted Lorcan to not be your typical Star Trek captain,
Sure, yeah.
not your Kirk. Who
But
was?
you don't have to do some. Okay, Brian Fuller has written Deep Space Nine, and he's got, and Ronald D. Moore as well. Deep
Yeah.
Space Nine. One of my favorite Star Trek episodes is Ronald D. Moore exploring military torture
Yeah,
in Star Trek.
yeah,
15 years before he did it on Battlestar Galactica.
yeah,
You can explore those type of dark
You can.
themes
Yeah.
while still being Star Trek,
yeah.
and you don't have to totally disregard the philosophy.
I
of
agree.
It lah. Yeah, lah.
Yeah. I'm just saying that I'm quite sure season 2 will have
Yeah.
more trackiness about it. Now
Yeah.
that people are slowly coming on board.
Well, okay. I think like the final episode, right, was everything that it should have been.
Yeah.
But it took such a great logical leap from the penultimate episode
Because
to
we needed
that episode.
action.
No, I
You
mean
see?
we needed the action. Yeah, sure, right? They needed
Yeah.
to elevate it, right? But
Yeah.
they skipped everything else. Basically,
True.
the last
True.
everything that happened before the finale didn't make sense anymore.
I know.
But if that is the start point from which they go,
But-
I'm quite excited.
But I really understand his frustration with it.
Sure.
A lot of people also forget that the first season of TNG was just bullshit lah.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's probably like the most revered of all the Star Trek shows.
It is.
Yeah. So I'm willing to get it to season 2.
Yeah.
Most of my favorite, to be honest, right?
A lot of shows, the season 2 is way better, right?
Buffy had one of the worst season 1s I've ever seen, and it's still my favorite show of all time.
But that's because they learn.
Yeah, they learn.
That's the good thing about TV.
Shows are allowed to grow, evolve organically.
Not film. Film, your sequels maybe can.
Yeah, it's like baseball. You hit or miss.
Yeah.
With film, it's like
TV.
With TV, it's a longer art form.
Yeah.
It's more like a novel.
Long form.
Yeah, exactly. So how did a talk about a Jin's penis become into Star Trek? Because of Fuller.
That's how we roll. Brian Fuller.
Because of Fuller. right. So for those of you who forgot, our initial point was, Jin sex.
Yeah. It was cool. Romantic, it was touching, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm going to talk about like a couple of things that I'm invested in, but like you both don't watch, and then you both can carry on.
What is it?
One of the shows that has been quite a revelation for me this year is called The Gifted.
Oh.
It's set in the X-Men universe. I guess now it's owned by Disney.
Yes.
But it follows the mutant underground trying to survive.
I've only watched the first episode.
Yeah. But basically, what it is to me is that more than any X-Men film, it encompasses the themes of the X-Men comic book more than I've ever seen. Because in the end, what the X-Men movies are season finales.
Yeah.
The big battle against Big Bad, glowing garbage in the sky, must save the world.
Yeah.
But what the X-Men is about oppression,
Yeah.
It's about the subjugation of people,
and
about discrimination, and it's about prejudice, and this is what the show is about.
Yeah.
And that's really never been explored outside of some throwaway dialogue in X-Men movies. And that's what I really like about The Gifted.
You get to
actually
expand on that.
Yeah. When the X-Men films talk about the human race have been persecuting the mutants, right? It's said.
But the impact is not really shown.
You have to show the day-to-day things. Like, for example, something small like a mutant being pulled over by the police, which is kind of an allegory for black men being pulled over by the police. It's something small and mundane. But this is the type of thing that happens every day. And it adds like real life weight to it,
Yeah.
And that's what The Gifted has.
Okay.
And the X-Men movies don't. But the moment I wanted to talk about is something that like I totally brain farted on.
Go ahead.
I claim to be like this nerd, right? Blah, blah, blah. But there was a blonde mutant psychic came into the mutant underground, manipulated everyone, and said that she had 2 family members who were captured by the Sentinel services and wanted to release them. And for some reason, I had no idea that she was the Stepford Cuckoos. And then she even said her name was Esme,
Wow. Okay, that one really brain fart.
I was like, oh, Esme, nice name. Sounds familiar. and then like the season finale, right? And then she comes out, and then the three of her standing there, like, oh my god, it's the Stepford Cuckoos. What the fuck?
But come on, that was a good feeling, right?
It was a good feeling. Like I'm so rarely shocked that I'm happy to be shocked.
Exactly.
Once again. So I hope that Emma Frost will come back. She probably won't. No. Much like Polaris, who is Magneto's daughter, is in it. So it's mostly about, the show also deals with the legacy of their parents.
Yeah.
And how they are supposed to carry on from that. Magneto made all these big decisions. Emma Frost made all these big decisions
without thinking of the
what the next generation will happen. But when you're fighting for survival, you gotta do that. So supposedly. So this it kind of feels to me like, what, you hear about the Mad King and Danny and John's father and all that. Like, it kind of feels like them. This is the new generation dealing with what their parents have done. Polaris is very cool. The Stepford Cuckoos is amazing.
Okay. I'm definitely going to catch The Gifted.
The Gifted is dope.
Okay.
I hope that it continues. I don't know whether the Disney overlords will allow it, considering the ratings are so low.
Well,
depends.
They're continuing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. regardless of ratings.
Investment in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They have no investment in this.
I mean, they can't pop up every single TV show.
Yeah, that is true. So
yeah, unless they want like X-23 to show up somewhere. And the New Mutants or whatever. Yeah. No, I'm just not gonna happen. But I'm just saying it could.
What's that?
Something that I don't know whether either of you saw was a movie called Colossal.
Yeah, the one about the Anne Hathaway.
Love Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway, amazing. So this is a movie about
vengeance.
Well, initially it's a quirky premise, almost like a Charlie Kaufman-esque premise of a girl who's a total millennial loser. She loses a boyfriend, loses a job. She's lazy as fuck. She falls asleep like half the time in the movie.
Oh, I like her already.
Yeah, she's just a slot, but she has no direction in life, and she gets drunk at like 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
But
whenever she gets drunk and she passes out, a kaiju pops up in Seoul, South Korea, and just destroys shit. But it turns out that like she is psychically linked to the kaiju, so whenever she passes out, she becomes this kaiju. and then like her drunkenly walking home, and then like she just casually knocking over buildings, but actually like she's like knocking over like leaves and shit, that kind of thing. So it's about like how alcoholism makes you a monster. But I thought that was the metaphor. Midway through the movie, it flips. It becomes a movie about the evils of male entitlement, which is so weird. I'm not going to spoil how it happens, but it's a very big moment. And when Gloria, who is the name of the main character, Anne Hathaway, overcomes Jason Sudeikis, who is the boyfriend slash male entitled asshole.
Bitch.
Yeah, him is actually a very empowering moment, and maybe the second most female empowering moment besides the Wonder Woman thing.
Okay.
But this is a lesser seen indie movie by Nacho Vigalandos, who is...
I mean, the budget was quite shoestring.
It's an indie film.
Yeah.
It's an indie film.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen Colossal, I highly recommend it. One of my top 10 movies of the year.
It's considered genre. Yeah, it's considered genre.
It's definitely... Dude, it's a movie about kaiju.
Yeah.
Who is psychically linked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I give it to you.
Yeah, I think it's genre.
It is genre.
I'm gonna plug like my best top 10 movies coming out on popwire.com soon. So yeah, Fossils on number 7.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah. I'm a bit tired of talking right now, but you can talk about My Hero Academia.
Ah!
Okay, so
I'll jump in. Yeah.
I'll jump in.
I decided since we're talking genre stuff and all things geekdom, let's just delve, or rather let's just skim the surface of the anime and what's going on over there.
Yeah, and also like the moment that encapsulated it for 2017.
In context, basically, right?
With context, right? So it's been a pretty good year for anime in general. I think like was Your Name this year? No, Your Name was last year.
That was my favorite movie of 2016.
Yeah.
I love Moonlight, like How High Water, La La Land. Your Name, man. Your Name is the best.
Your Name has been one of the best non-Ghibli animated Japanese films.
And also genre.
And also genre. It's brilliant. And there have been a slew of those kind of they have been coming up and like been doing very, very well. Of course, you have your heavy hitters like your Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Disappointing season 2.
Disappointing season 2 though.
Disappointing season 2. And kind of the viral breakout in One Punch Man.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's pretty interesting to kind of go back to something that feels very stock shonen esque, right? With My Hero Academia. And all the premises are there, all the cliches are there, all the tropes are there.
Annoying protagonist.
Every anime.
Who's weak, and he has like this ridiculously long like searching for strength arc and so on and so forth. But such great emotional tone and payoff.
Yes.
Right. So the particular scene that I want to talk about is so we're in season 2 right now. I highly recommend this anime. It's easy to watch. It's easy to get into and actually get very invested.
Yeah.
Quick binge.
So we're gonna talk about Shoto and Deku's fight at the tournament, and this is the semi-final fight.
Yeah,
it's a semi-final fight. Great action.
Very good action. Yeah.
Brilliant animation. I think the studio has been doing really, really good work so far.
I think the animation looked a lot better than season 1.
Yeah, it did.
They
More
crisp, right? Yeah.
More crisp. I mean, the studio got an influx of money on how well
the season 1
the first season
it
did.
crossed over into the American audience, which was
it
a surprise to them.
It's a rare thing.
And it's doing very well in America right now. You know, maybe it's because the whole symbolism of All Might and all of that kind of like feeds into the current.
The very American superhero.
Yeah, there's also a lot of Western superhero tropes that are kind of subverted and upended
here, and
but it's an easier starting point than let's say Attack on Titan or something like that.
For sure,
definitely.
And it's easy enough, and I think like in a world of superhero movies and superhero shows and all of that, it's something quite fresh. You have your underdog, wannabe superhero and his struggle and all that. And at the end of the day, it kind of like humanizes his story and brings that a lot closer to home, but through a superhero medium, which I find that's totally brilliant.
And so this brings all the way to the semi-final tournament match.
Yes.
Deku is this useless piece of shit.
Yeah, so
most of the time.
Deku, Midoriya, it's his actual name. Deku is kind of like
his superhero name.
The insulting name that he's been given because
he's useless.
He's useless.
Yeah.
Right. Meets probably the most gifted.
Naturally gifted,
of
because eugenics. This is why.
Because of eugenics, yes. We won't go into that. And essentially, at the end of the day, they're supposed to fight for some kind of supremacy, right, in the tournament, just to show off how powerful they are. And this is a repeating theme in trying to be the best hero he can be. He ends up saving a lot of the people that he comes into contact with
Yeah.
along the way, unintentionally,
Yeah.
which is great. And that just builds very, very good. Oh man, it makes you so invested.
Exactly.
Into the story itself.
So like, I mean, this Shoto fight was interesting because Shoto, he was having daddy issues lah.
yes,
Yeah.
like some major daddy issues, which
Yeah.
I like that the show took the time to
Yeah.
explain and explore.
Yeah.
But again, with long form anime,
You got
kind
time.
You'll get there.
Yeah, you
You'll
get there
there.
eventually.
So Shoto, his thing is that he has both his mother's
Yeah.
and father's powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't use his father's powers because he hates his daddy.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right, and and obviously, Deku's challenge to him is like, first of all,
It's your power.
it's your power,
Yeah.
and you're not
You're
treating
not-
me with respect.
Yeah.
Because you're only using half your
Half
power.
your power.
So like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and kick the shit out of you, even though I'm weak.
I'm going to use all of my
I'm
power,
gonna use all my
destroy
power.
my body at the same time.
Yeah, and like get ridiculously hurt just so you can realize, that you're being an idiot.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, like, there's no such thing as a guilty pleasure, but I really love this anime.
This fight was so well done.
Yeah.
I think My Hero Academia might be like one of the easiest things to watch as a non-anime fan.
Yeah.
One of the primary questions that we get as people who watch anime, I think Isa and Hardi are more hardcore than I am, but I watch my fair share of anime. But
Yeah.
one of the major questions we get from casuals is, what can I start on? It's so intimidating.
It is.
My Hero Academia to me is one of the good gateway drugs into anime.
Yeah.
Alongside your Cowboy Bebops and Samurai Champloo's and the standard stuff, And that's the reason it's one of the biggest crossover hits for an American audience. Not to say an American audience is less sophisticated, they're just less used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
I mean, the anime world comes with so much of its own kind of nuance and its own kind of tropes that
Correct.
The medium and the things created out of that medium feed back into that. So it's a constant cycle of that.
Yeah.
So it's not easy. But that being said, and we had a conversation about that. Like, what would you introduce someone who wants to start anime into? And like Samurai Champloo or Cowboy Bebop, all that great stuff.
Very easy.
And anyone who has watched enough anime would say that that's some of the best anime out there. But at the same time, you have something that's so easy, given what's been coming out in the movies and what's on TV and all of that.
I mean, something like Cowboy Bebop, we've already kind of seen that in like the space western, Star
Yeah,
Wars,
exactly.
Firefly,
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Yeah,
and, like,
Blade Runner would probably be one of the closest things. to
Yeah,
Cowboy Bebop.
actually,
Yeah.
you're exactly right about
Yep.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap this up with like one last point.
What?
And this is an all-encompassing point.
What?
Because this man has done so much this year that we can't put one point on
Oh
it.
no.
Yes.
This is the year of Stephen King.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
For good and for bad.
Both for TV and film.
Let's talk about the good for a moment.
Okay.
The year of Stephen King, obviously, it was a surprise moneymaker. Nobody was surprised that it was going to be successful, but
Yeah.
to be this successful, like it totally outshone
Well,
things.
it had a great marketing campaign.
Like it went above and beyond Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man: Homecoming,
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. This big tempo superhero shit.
Yeah.
And this revival of the 80s lah. I mean,
Yeah.
if the success of Stranger Things hasn't already told you, there's a big fetish for the 80s out right now.
Yeah.
And it is kind of like Stranger Things. But it was the biggest success for Stephen King, but not the only success for Stephen
No.
King. There was a movie called Gerald's Game that came out on Netflix.
On Netflix, yeah.
Which was basically just about a woman tied to a bed because she was playing sex games with her husband and her husband died of a heart attack.
And they were in an isolated area.
Yeah, so she has no phone, cannot reach the phone, cannot call out for help. What she gonna do to survive? How she gonna get water? How she gonna get food? How she gonna get out of this?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like those closed door chamber pieces. They just place in the psychology and fear of that.
Yeah.
It's very tense.
Yep.
There's a murder mystery called Mr. Mercedes that's out on the Audience Network as well.
Small TV show.
Well, the Audience Network is a tiny network, and this show was a tiny part of that network.
Yeah.
So this is like one of those shows that like
Most probably nobody will watch it.
like most YouTube channels probably get more views than this.
Yeah.
But it's phenomenal up until like the last 3 or 4 episodes.
Okay.
But it's a good show.
What else?
And Stephen King also had The Dark Tower this year, which was, I would say, the failure of it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have guys like Matthew McConaughey, Idris Elba, kind of like
anchoring this film
it's puzzling, and also because like a book as dense as The Dark Tower
cannot be done in
like
one movie.
thousands of pages and shit.
Cannot be.
Not only in one movie, in less than 80 minutes.
Yeah, which was puzzling.
Its 80-minute running time was already a big red flag. It's like, studio interference. They want this to be short so they can have more screenings.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
And that's how you make a bad movie.
Yeah. Of all these, like, which
Dark
have
Tower has so much fucking potential.
Yeah,
Exactly,
I was
yeah.
so hyped for it.
yeah.
Oh man.
Of all of these, like the three good ones, like Gerald's Game, It's and Mr. Mercedes. What have you seen and what have you not seen?
I've watched it.
Yeah.
I watched like 10 minutes of Gerald's Game
Oh, okay.
because of Netflix.
Yes.
Then I stopped there and went and watched something else.
Millennials.
Yeah. I've only watched the first few episodes of Mr. Mercedes,
Which
which
are good.
I really like.
Which are good.
But now I feel.
climax is disappointing. I have
Oh,
to say.
okay. Never mind. I'm gonna watch it anyway.
Yeah.
What's that one? Oh, Dark Tower.
Yeah. No.
We had the same.
Yeah. No, I see what disconcerts me is that it was so bad. I don't think they can salvage that
Oh.
for
No,
a good
no.
few years.
Nope.
Right?
No.
And it's such a waste of Idris Elba.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Waste of such good material.
one of the greatest Stephen King books.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
As much as I enjoy Mr. Mercedes and It and Gerald's Game, those were kind of just, they didn't have the impact that Dark Tower did in book form.
Yeah, correct.
In the world of literature, you know. Dark Tower was kind of like his opus, his tome, you know. And it's so weird like that to see it so wasted. Of all the movies, right?
Dark Tower will be the failure.
Yeah, because like you would think it will be successful, but it's a rehash of kind of a corny 80s miniseries that people only remember for Tim Curry.
Yeah.
But what it did so well was that like it brought the R rating into it.
Yeah.
I mean, it did have the whole like kids on bikes element of it, but at the same time, the first scene had like a small child getting his arm bitten off.
Yeah.
You know, they already established, whoa.
Yep. This is where we're going.
Yeah, and there's it combines a bunch of movies as well, the coming of age nature of it.
Yeah.
It felt like John Hughes sometimes. The dynamic between the kids was outstanding.
Yes.
Yeah.
What worries me about it too is that these kids will not be around.
Yeah,
they'll be
and
recast by
whether or
adults.
not-
They
yeah.
can recapture the dynamic, right? Yeah. That's the big worry. But I mean, with names like Jessica Chastain involved, I'm sure it'll be fun. Kind of just like the sexual awakening and stuff like that.
Agreed.
It's a bit like kind of touchy issues, but important coming of age issues, especially
Yeah.
for kids going through puberty.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I mean, I think it was a lot more visually stunning than what I remember the original to be.
The
Oh,
original was
definitely.
just like a cheap TV.
Yeah, it was damn cheap.
And
Yeah.
I'm not sure because it's all about the nostalgia of the original movie, right? Like
Yeah.
we remember kind of where that.
But
was
because
from.
we were very
Did-
young.
Yeah, but did this extra visual flair add to it? Or
I did.
detract
I think
from
it did.
I think it did as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
rewatching the Tim Curry one, it did not age that well.
Yeah,
For me.
I feel like the soundtrack was really good as well. For
The
this.
soundtrack was really
Ooh,
good.
yes,
Yeah, I
you're
really
right.
did enjoy
You're
it.
right.
Yeah. Okay, so to end this podcast, we're gonna look forward to 2018.
Yes, we are.
Each of you pick out one thing from genre that you're looking forward to, and I'm taking something off the table.
What?
No Infinity War.
Okay.
We're
Oh.
all looking forward to Infinity War. I mean,
Okay.
it's kind of a duh. you know?
Duh.
So like, pick something you're most anticipated of 2018. I surface.
I'm gonna say Black Panther.
That was my choice.
Yeah,
Next month.
Yeah,
we'll
next
definitely
month.
be doing a review for that here. Black Panther is such an important movie.
Yeah.
In a cultural context.
I
yeah.
think for me that's kind of the thing. Like, trailer's hype. I love it. Very very excited.
I
but
mean-
it is how culturally important this movie is going to be.
Most
Whether or not it bombs or not, it is still the very fact that
Important.
it's being released or the very fact that it's being made is so culturally important.
There's going to be a bunch of alt-right trolls that are going to try to bomb it on Rotten Tomatoes the
screw
same
them
way
up.
that
Yeah.
Last Jedi. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't think it's going to bomb. Nothing on Disney ever bombs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. They're going to try their hardest to do it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be. I mean, just the release itself is going to be a triumph.
Yeah.
In and of itself.
I mean, like, I see some videos online on Facebook of kind of just like black friends walking past the cinema and they see the poster just full of black men and women. And they're like, is this what representation feels like? Is this what white people feel like all the time? It feels amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, there was videos of YouTube reactions to the trailers
Yeah.
of black people reacting to these trailers, and it was fucking amazing to
The
watch.
YouTube reaction of the Black Panther cast themselves watching the trailer for the first time, and they were just high-fiving and they were so
Yeah.
excited. It's like,
Yeah.
I can't
Crying
believe
and
this,
shit.
this has happened for us in a mainstream
brilliant.
superhero movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? He took Black Panther off the table,
Mine-
and I took Infinity War because Infinity War is done.
Yeah.
It's duh, right?
Yeah.
What else do we have?
There's lots coming out. There's Han
Deadpool,
Solo.
lor.
There's Deadpool too.
Yeah, Deadpool 2.
Yeah. How
I'm
confident
looking
are you now that the original Deadpool director is left?
Still confident lah. I mean, Ryan Reynolds still around.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds was the real voice of it,
Yeah,
right? I feel.
exactly.
Yeah, and the fact that they got the John Wick guys who can do the action.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant.
I thought like the Bob Ross trailer was really funny.
It was.
Very irreverent.
Like, yeah,
It
very
was really-
Deadpool lah.
Even the Deadpool tweets to the Disney Fox merger were really funny too.
It was.
So hopefully they get to make jokes about that as well.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Deadpool 2 is something I'm looking forward to because Cable is going to be around.
sweet.
Yes, and
Yeah.
Cable is being played by.
Josh
By
Brolin,
Thanos.
who
Yes.
is now both an employee of Fox and Disney.
Yeah. And he's also going to be in Sicario 2 next year. So
Ooh, that's going to be interesting.
Big, yeah, not exactly genre, but if you haven't seen Sicario,
Go watch Sicario.
Danny Villeneuve, man.
Oh,
Cool.
I am.
Yeah.
Cannot that
Oh,
movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
Villeneuve.
Yeah.
Is Dune coming out this year?
Dune's not this year.
Not
Dune's
this
this
next
year.
year.
Dang. But
Oh, he's doing Dune.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
That should be
Yes.
fun.
Like, if there's a author that I trust to do Dune right, it will be him.
His
Also,
next-
this might be the right time to do Dune.
Yeah. This will be his next 3-hour masterpiece that will make maybe like $12 at the cinema. Blade Runner 2049 was amazing, but it made no money, which is so sad.
Yeah.
That was amazing
But
film.
mostly because it was too long. Ridley Scott even said that.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was too long. I thought it was appropriate. You kind of like
on my second viewing, because I fell asleep on my first,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
I slept for 45 minutes.
Yep.
On my second viewing, I think the movie is a great sequel
Yeah.
to Blade Runner.
It carries on the legacy.
carries on the legacy
Was still
very
retaining
well.
his own identity.
Yeah, I mean, and Ryan Gosling, oh man, I'm in love with that man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My most anticipated for 2018.
What is it?
Is the theme of this podcast has been tonal elasticity.
Yes.
And the New Mutants is something I'm very interested
Oh yeah, I forgot about
it's the
that.
first ever superhero horror
Horror,
movie.
yeah.
And it's not going to be like there's going to be horror elements. It's a horror movie, straight up. If you look at the trailer, it's cut like a horror movie.
Yup.
The director has flat out said that this is more like The Exorcist than it is The X-Men.
Brilliant. Just now the ghost got powers.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever is torturing them has powers.
Exactly. And I feel like this was kind of this mental house, psychological tension, powers running awry. It's kind of like touched upon slightly in Legion in a more whimsical way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, can be scary as well. But this just full on horror vibes. I'm intrigued by the cast. You have that guy from Stranger Things who nobody knows the name of. You have Anya Taylor-Joy. You got Arya Stark. I'm sorry, Maisie Williams. When you talk about Game of Thrones people, you just
Yeah, we call them by their character names most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, now both the sisters are mutants.
Yeah, so like Sansa and Arya can reunite. And
One
maybe-
as Jean Grey and one as
And crack Game of Thrones jokes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Maybe they can kill the
Although
Littlefinger.
that being said, right, is Phoenix confirmed?
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Confirmed though,
it's,
even-
it's in the
It's
can.
in the can,
It's
right?
done.
It's done.
Right, okay.
They released the set photos and all of that for EW.
Looks interesting.
It looks interesting. Simon Kinberg's first directorial debut. So that scares me. Simon
Okay.
Kinberg has produced all the X-Men films.
Yeah,
But this is
but a
first
bit of an
director.
unknown.
A bit of an unknown when it comes to the actual technical, being a director, holding the camera, framing, lighting.
You're not really holding the. But I know what you mean.
Now, I know what you mean, like that's the DP, like.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like overall visionary of it,
Yeah.
and more of the minutiae, such as like evoking emotion from the actors, trying to get them in.
Well, let's give him a chance.
Yeah, we'll give him a chance. Yeah, but for your first, I mean, think of all the people that helm blockbusters, right?
Yeah.
Even the indie directors, at least they had a couple of small indie hits behind them.
Yeah,
Kinda-
it's like just
Like
straight up.
Taki, like Watiti. With,
yeah,
Like, you know.
And I'm just afraid that like it's gonna be good because he knows comic books,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be good in the CW way.
Ah.
Do you know what I mean? Where like he's gonna
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
gonna get the moments right.
It's not the
get
big screen kind of
story
thing
right,
lah.
But then like what about it looking like a movie lah? Will it look
The
like a $200
cinematography,
movie?
the
Yeah.
whole. Okay, I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I mean, David Ayer is a famous example of a good director that has no idea how to use money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Suicide Squad looked like a cheap movie, Bright looked like a cheap movie, and he was given
Yeah.
like $100 million for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bright.
Bright, right?
It is genre, so
It is genre.
I guess
Yeah,
we can
let's,
mention
let's
it.
talk about Bright.
Because I know you didn't like it.
Just recently came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
I was actually. I thought it was an okay movie.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I thought it was fine. It was.
I just felt that the potential of Bright was not realized.
It wasn't realized.
Should have
I
been a
love
series.
yes.
It
first
should
of
be
all,
a TV series.
It
yes.
should have been a TV series.
Felt like a pilot, didn't it?
Yeah, and I did like the world building though. I
I
think
did.
they did a pretty good job for
As nerds and as geeks, this is like our thing, man. We
Our
love
forte, yeah.
we love things which build brilliant, complex worlds.
But I'm just gonna say that if you want to do kind of like this alt fantasy history thing.
Yeah.
That's going on. Then like Hollywood needs to take a hint from what anime has been doing for years and years and years.
Yes.
Right?
True.
Because they do it and they do it very, very well.
The storyboards are already there.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I think like if they kind of wanna continue to do that, I mean, I do hope that Bright, or at least something like Bright in a long form version comes out, because I would really enjoy that.
Same.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings Bad Boys, that's what we've been
Yeah.
doing.
Lord of the Rings Bad Boys.
that was
We got it.
We got it. For those of you who don't know, there's been this running joke between myself and Hardi about how we try to insert Bad Boys into every franchise.
movie.
So somebody actually finally did Lord of the Rings Bad Boys.
Yeah.
So I kind
Too bad it wasn't as good as we thought it would be.
But there was potential there.
Potential.
I feel like some of the backlash to Bright was a bit unwarranted.
Like what?
Similar to the Justice League backlash,
Okay.
where oh my god, this movie is terrible, it's garbage. It's perfect.
Ah,
It had its merits, but it also had its demerits.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
okay. I think a lot of it boiled down to the backlash over its writer Max Landis and its
Yeah.
recent like
Sexual misconduct.
misconduct allegations. So that's been going around.
Yep.
It's hard to say this, but I'm a fan of Max Landis. I enjoyed Chronicle quite a lot. I enjoyed his run on Superman, Illegal Alien,
Yep.
American Alien. I'm sorry. He's a big Talking Smack fan. If you listen to our other podcasts,
He's a big wrestling guy.
yeah, he shows up for like PWG shows and shit. So I mean, it's tough to talk about people that you admire in this light, lah. And
Yeah.
it's getting more and more difficult every month, lah, when more allegations come through.
Becomes like less and less people that we actually like now.
Yeah.
Because they're douchebags.
I mean, I'm still glad I got Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
And Joss
For
Whedon,
now.
for those of you who don't know, he just had an affair. There was no sexual misconduct. At least it was consensual.
Yeah.
But it's so sad.
Like that is the bar now, you know?
Yeah. That is so sad that like it was like, hey, it's consensual, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But the bar has been set so low for men.
Yeah. Because we've been assholes.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll be coming back on February 1st.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about a bunch of stuff. We'll be looking forward to Black Panther. We'll
Black
probably
Panther.
be talking about Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Yes.
It'll be
Yeah.
back by then, yes.
Yeah.
All the Blacks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, Black Mirror, all 6 episodes are led by female protagonists this
Good.
year.
Oh, really?
And it was a happy accident. They never actually planned
Oh,
it.
wow.
It just
I
so
thought
happened.
it was only every episode 4 that was going to be that. Oh, but maybe they broke it with the first season.
Wow,
Okay,
all.
cool.
All
That's
of them.
brilliant.
Interesting, right? And
Yeah.
we'll probably reignite the Star Trek debate because there's a Star Trek episode in Black Mirror as well.
Oh yeah. That'll be interesting.
That'll be interesting. Alright, till next month, I'm Hidzir.
I'm Hardi.
Myself.
Catch you then.
Bye.